Finally, Ethan Warren gives him no space. He's in the wall, turn 4, he's taken out Bruce Dean as well. Oh, big moment there, Kurt Stenberg on his roof.
Big crash at turn 4, that is an unfortunate, huge crash. A very good evening to you, wherever you're watching around the country or indeed the world. And welcome to round 3 of the Automobilista Supercars Championship for 2022. We are here at the brand new version of the Albert Park circuit. The first time that we have raced this circuit, this particular version of the circuit, ever. As far as Albert Park, it's been a couple of years, and boy, have we missed it. Madbird is alongside me. My name is Stairs. We are going to be your commentary pairing for tonight.
And for every night, well, not every night, but most nights, we are here in Melbourne, as Stairs has just pointed out, at the new layout. And what a cracking weekend of racing we've just had in the real life at the Albert Park. At the Albert Park, we had an absolute cracking weekend of racing in all disciplines. Fantastic turnout. It was good to see motor racing back in a big way in Australia. Not that it ever was, gone, but
I'd forgotten how much I missed it, to be honest. So very much looking forward to it. We'll detail some of the changes in the track, but let's have a quick look at the points situation going into this round. It's Dane Warren with a perfect ledger, 700 points out of an available 700 points. He leads his brother Ethan Warren in second place, and then behind him, Colin Warwick having a great season so far. Zach Baker just behind him, and the defending champion Kurt Stenberg in 5th place. He's got Hans Brunswick behind him on 442 points. Luke Rosella, I would have expected him a little bit further up, but he's had DNFs hurt him so far, and sees him down in 7th before Alex Cattle and Madbird. Here are the team's points classification.
Yeah, Trans-Tasman Racing with a pretty commanding lead there, having Kurt Stenberg and Ethan Warren. That's a pretty big pairing. Warwick Racing Team in second, with ZB Racing not too far behind at all. ZB Racing once again going for a team's championship. AWG Sim Racing down in 4th. Previously Race on Oz, so them and ZB have got a long history in this series. And a few other teams round out the top 10.
That's right. So, well, let's have a look at the first bit of on-track action. And someone's just had a crash and gone back to the pits, and that's the man we're looking at right now, Brap. Or we would be looking at if he wasn't in the garage. There he is. Here is the championship leader. Can anyone stop that man? Number 57 for Coanda Sim Sports, Dane Warren. And he is getting a little bit of track time. As you can see, the fastest time already in this practice session, a 1:45.7, which is faster already than the fastest lap that we saw in real life for the supercars on this version of the racetrack.
Yeah, some very, very quick times already coming in. Although, that said, Dane Warren is 2 whole seconds ahead of the next fastest man, which is Colin Warwick, with a 1:47.7. Let's go on board.
Listen to that. That's loud, isn't it?
It's a little bit loud as he comes down towards that back chicane.
Well, what we're looking at here is the new turns 9 and 10. Those corners actually completely unchanged, because Well, the only real difference is the name, really. They used to be turns 11 and 12. Now it's 9 and 10 because of the removal of corners before. Now this corner a bit deeper and sharper now to try and induce some overtaking. I'm not sure if it really did that in Formula 1, but it certainly did that across the weekend in supercars. And then the final couple of corners here, pretty much unchanged.
Ooh.
Dane Warren taking a very deep... I think he's just setting up for a fast lap here. Squaring off that corner so that he could get a nice exit out the final corner. So let's take you around a lap, Manbird, of this Albert Park circuit. So down the start-finish straight, the first corner being a little bit widened, smashing into the limiter there. So a bit wider here so you can really carry the speed. And then turning left, pretty much as limited on grip as you can possibly go, all the way out to the edge of the racetrack on the right-hand side. And then down to turn 3, which has also been widened, funneling into there. And traffic nicely getting out of the way through the car park here at turn 4 and 5. Here is turn 5. Now we saw quite a bit of action at this part of the racetrack during the weekend. Crashes aplenty in the more than one series. Down into turn 6. Now this is a lot faster than it was. It used to be a real pinching point there. Now you can really carry the speed, Madbird, through there. Now the part that we're about to come up to here is where there used to be a very, very annoying chicane, and that is gone. We are flat. Harry Flatters, as Mark Brundle would say, Madbird.
That is exactly what he said. And all the way down into this back chicane. Little bit of an early turn in there. Nicely on the exit though. Although dips his left tyres into the grass. Car gets out of the way nicely for him there, but that would have cost him a little bit of time. Down into this, as you said, reprofiled corner with a much wider entry. Pretty decent, and manages to avoid the grass on the exit through the penultimate corner.
Yeah, the corner before the penultimate corner.
Yeah, there we go. This is the penultimate corner.
And then 13 and 14. Quite an amphitheatre of grandstands, that part of the track where you see people peel off into the pits, and that will complete a lap of Albert Park. Let's see if he improves. He set a purple first sector on the lap that we were just on board with, but it looks like he might... There's a button that I forgot to reprogram.
I reckon he might have gotten a track cut on the entrance into the turn. On the entrance into the 9-10 chicane, it looked like he got onto the inside of the curbing.
The curbing?
The curbing. On the inside of the curbing. And we were watching him earlier on in practice, actually, before we went live, and he did the same thing and lost the lap as well. So, got to be careful with that turn in. It is a very technical... well, it's a lot of trust to fling your car in at almost top speed and trust that it's going to grip. Kurt Stenberg wouldn't be particularly happy with that run through it. Right out onto the grass on the exit.
Right out sideways.
Right out sideways, out in the boonies.
So we've got 15 cars so far in this practice session. And just a little bit of information for you on the format for tonight. So we are going for 2 races tonight, and both will be preceded by 8-minute qualifying sessions. So the first race beginning at 8:10 standard time, so that is 30 minutes from now. That will be a 20-lap race, and there will be 1 compulsory pit stop in that race. In the second race, which is a 10-lapper, due to start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that will be a 10-lap race, and that will also have 1 compulsory pit stop. So a bit of a change up from what we've had so far. We've had 2 compulsory pit stops in the first race, the longer race in the races that we had in round 1 and 2. So just the 1 for this longer first race. So I'm wondering if that will introduce a little bit more variation in the strategy when they take their pit stop. Maybe they'll be a little bit limited tyre and fuel-wise. Yeah,
maybe some people will try to, well, they opt for the safe, go for a 2-stop so they know that they're fine on tyres, and some other people, you know, are always going to do as little stops as they possibly can. And try to eke out the tyres over the entire race distance. 20 laps, nothing to sneeze at around here, with
no, not at all.
Lap time the thick end of 1.5 minutes, as we watch Kurt Stenberg circulating for his practice session. And 8-minute qualifying, so I reckon that's a decent middle ground between the 10-minute ones that we had. and I think, was it 5? Did we have 5-minute qualifyings at Symmons Plains?
I've already thrown away the piece of paper where the schedule was.
I reckon I might be doing myself a mischief with that one. I don't think we did.
We have had it in the past, though, and I love it because it's always chaotic. But a track like this, where it takes the best part of 2 minutes to get around, you only get 2 laps in. Yep,
so 8 minutes is probably going to be the equivalent of a 5-minute qualifying session at a different track. I was because I'm a Formula 1 person, I was thinking, it's quite a short lap, Melbourne, but it's interesting that the supercars are that bit slower. It makes it a very different track to watch.
It's the only real comparison we get between an F1 circuit and a supercars circuit. At least in this day and age, the supercars did visit Bahrain and Abu Dhabi a couple of times, and I think they even went to Shanghai one year.
That'd be interesting.
As far as this year, well, that's a favourite of yours, isn't it, man?
I do like Shanghai.
But Albert Park, and I feel like we're back to a real calendar instead of like a sort of a supercars light calendar that we've had in the last 2 years, where we've only really gone to Sydney Motorsport Park, Townsville,
Darwin,
and Symmons Plains. Now we're going to open it up, and we'll hopefully be seeing the entire calendar, including potentially Adelaide at the end of the season in December.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Mally, old mate Mally getting in.
He's promised it, hasn't it? It was one of his election promises, so, you know.
And
there'll be blood if it doesn't come back, I would say.
And the Motorsport Festival. It's an interesting camera angle.
We're noticing some... This is a port from another game. I won't say what game, but you can probably guess. They did have to fix a few issues. Now, it's interesting. There are various different track viz cameras that it uses, so it seems to cycle between them. So I don't have any choice over when it uses that camera, when it uses the camera that isn't apparently 40 feet below the surface of turn 3.
That's a shame.
And unfortunately, the button I normally use to switch from onboard to offboard shots, for some reason that button gives you this screen. Oh, it's not doing it now.
Oh, God. We're professionals.
But anyway, in case you're wondering, and here's a little peek behind the curtain. When I want to switch from an onboard shot to an offboard shot, I press page down, which a few moments ago was taking me to the technical difficulties side of OBS. So it's not doing it now, so let's hope it stays that way. But there's a heads up. If you see that happen, then that's what has occurred.
Very good.
As we watch Colin Warwick, currently third in the championship.
Yeah, doing well, Colin Warwick. Doing better than defending champion Kurt Stenberg, it must be said. Who hasn't actually set a lap time in this practice session as yet. Yeah,
and the session has just halted there. So he's sat in 14th. He's only done he only registered as having done 2 laps. Perhaps that one of those was an outlap, and maybe he went back to the pits to do another outlap.
But it was Colin's, I think you had a chat to Colin pre-season, and he was saying that he was aiming to be more consistently up the top of the ladder. So sitting third in the championship, he's got to be reasonably happy with that, considering that the 2 cars in front of him are the Warren brothers, who
he's gone back to the pits.
He's gone back to the pits. So those are 2 people that you'd never be particularly ashamed to be behind.
Now we're looking here at Keenan Sykes. Now, normally Aiden Sykes is in that car. I'm wondering, it's either Keenan is in the car, or he's using Keenan's login. Perhaps I'm not sure what the answer is there. It's one of the two. My suggestion would be
too many Sykes.
Exactly.
It must be said.
So the commentary cam is back, and. So you can see our lovely faces. We're not drinking anything super expensive. What's the word?
Alcoholic.
Although you wouldn't know it.
Nothing too strong.
It's a quiet XPA, I believe.
Yes, that is the term.
Focus on that.
Less than 0.5%.
I don't normally drink during these, but you know, it's been a rough day.
You say I don't. As
Oh,
if
no, no,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm wandering in here with a bottle of rum every...
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
I used to, but I kept pressing the wrong button. But being sober hasn't stopped me from pressing the wrong button either. So
Maybe that's a sign you should pick it back up again. Maybe
potentially.
give you
But,
a little bit of...
Here's cheers. You might notice that we're in a slightly different locale to round one. So the studio has moved again, which is, it's just part of life. I'm hoping that we'll move it again another time in the next few years. I don't know. I'm hoping to buy a house one day and then I can have my studio exactly the way I like it. But wouldn't that be something for the Bathurst?
Wouldn't that be
1000?
something?
I'd like to get a big green screen.
Yeah?
For Michael Zalavari, if he's watching. That's
Get excited for the green screen. It's on stream now.
Then
so
he would be in the track. We could put Automobilista on the green screen, and he could
do like a weird virtual grid walk.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Oh,
These
my
all,
goodness.
if only I had more time, but I don't.
If only I had a heart.
So
No, he's got a heart. It's fine.
So we're about to roll into a last 15-minute practice session before we head into qualifying.
Foley, good friend Brenton369, also Brenton Foley, saying, down at Madbird. I mean, I could, but why?
There's another comment under there from Rossi96 who's asking for a shoe.
Shoey. No, these are my good work boots. I'm not doing it.
I'd rather do it out of a good shoe than a bad shoe.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to ruin the good shoe is the point. I don't know what beer would do to the inside of...
That's true. Well, you need Daniel Ricciardo's glass decanter.
Yeah, if you want to donate $700 to us on Patreon, we'll buy the Daniel Ricciardo shoe
and do a
decanter.
shoey
Yeah.
from it. Although that's not exactly impressive to do a shoey out of something that's meant to be drinking out of. Good to see the old whiteboard in the background is recovering well. Yeah, it has a good rest from time to time. It still has actually some of the writing that Floody wrote on it at the end of last Bathurst. So that was the tale of Joe
and
Woe of various drivers. The magnets are not attached to it currently, but no doubt if we put it out of reach of Madbird, he can't destroy it for a fourth time.
Until the next Bathurst.
Until the next Bathurst. So
any opportunity to destroy a whiteboard.
Well, that's it. Looks like we've got a bit of track action happening, so we'll head back to the Albert Park circuit to see exactly what the go is. And no times yet so far, but we've got Zach Baker on track. Pretty much everyone on track so far. Just the 14 cars so far, but we normally see the numbers in the server bump up closer to the qualifying session, Madbird.
Yep, so Zach Baker just circulating. One of the drivers who I would probably expect to have been doing a little bit better. He's sort of been a little bit overawed, I think, by some of the other talent or the people that have improved.
There's a lot of talent.
There is a lot of talent. So much talent.
And apologies if I mispronounce your name in the chat there, but NZM Cron asking new layout or old layout for tonight's race. We can confirm that this is the new layout, so we are already looking at lap times in the 145s, which is faster than we saw in real life in the supercars at this track. We have noticed a few little camera issues, so apologies if we suddenly glitch to underneath the circuit.
Or behind a pack of trees. We'll do
our best to bring the coverage to maybe switching to onboard circuits, onboard cameras before that happens. But for the most part, this lap looks pretty good. I think it's just this part of the track where we go behind the trees in a few moments that might prove a bit of an issue. So we might go onboard if the server doesn't freeze on us.
There we go.
If we go on board, oh, that's loud. We'll go on board for that, so that will prevent that from being too much of an issue. But it's fantastic to see that we've got this new version of the circuit on Automobilista, so we can only improve on it.
I see that new version of the track or not, we do still have the same video on the... Oh, Zach Baker! Very deep into turn 9.
They carry so much speed into there.
They really do. The new track or not, we have the same looping video on all of the big screens as we used to have at the Albert Park tracks in the past. It's very cerebral viewing, must be said, as someone spinning around in the background. Speaking of spinning around...
Cerebral.
Yep. Cerebral.
I think we need a better angle of that, so we'll keep on working on it. Don't you worry, we will bring it to you. We know what the people want.
We do. Zach Baker coming around to finish his lap, which will not be setting the timing boards alight after that moment through the back chicane. As my co-commentator searches feverishly for a good angle.
I remember there being more jumbo vision when I went to this racetrack last, but
I've never been to Albert Park in my life, which, considering it's in the same country as me.
Well, you've been to probably a better racetrack for viewing as far as Formula One goes in Suzuka. I'd say.
Yeah, got to see. We've said this before, I think, on commentary, but we got to see Max Verstappen block Lewis Hamilton in front of us.
There we go. Dostoevsky, eat your heart out, because this is mind-expanding stuff.
Clipsal 500 Adelaide.
It dates it a little bit.
It does
together
a little
with
bit.
The old Channel 10 logo in the watermark in the top right-hand corner.
Oh my goodness. Who is continuing to add this? It must be Stenberg.
Oh, it's pretty much every Australian circuit, I think, has this.
Is it some sort of automobilista modding law that if you add a track that is in Australia, you need to put the cheerleader footage from the Clipsal on the Jumbo Vision?
I was actually, weirdly enough, there's a bit of a coincidence going on here, because last night I was watching one of our old races when we went to Albert Park in the Formula Ultimates, which is this game's version of the 2017 F1 cars. And I pulled over to have a look at one of those Jumbo Visions. And I remember Bang commenting, I like the pink one.
Oh, Bang.
So that was a friend of ours, Bang, not a loud noise.
Not an onomatopoeic loud noise. Goodness.
But yeah, 1:45.9 is the time currently set by Dane Warren, but he did set a 45.716, and I'm just keeping an eye on that, because we are going to set a new track record tonight, because this track has never been raced in this series, and it's something we do tend to keep tabs on, because the question always is, can Dane Warren beat his own records? Usually, because he holds most of them. It's
less a lap record and more a Dane Warren record throughout the season that we keep track of here. Colin Warwick improving on his personal best. Now just outside of a second from Dane Warren, so he was about 2 seconds down in the previous practice session, so he's lifted his game a little bit, but still that just goes to show how the league that Dane Warren is in is different.
Elite.
He's elite, there you go.
He is elite. There's no two words about it. Well, there's no two ways about it. There's more than two words to be said about it.
E7333, wait, no. E1337, elite.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Yes.
So Alex Cattle up in third, albeit it's just early days in this practice session. Some people might be doing high fuel, Madbird, various strategies. I've seen some people come into the pits, which is a good idea, because this is definitely something to be...
Sounds like Colin Warwick's...
Run out of fuel?
Yeah, it's just sort of ticking over.
Yeah, it is ticking over. What is he doing?
Someone's approaching.
Yeah, it's
there
Dane
it is.
Warren on the left there in the Coanda Sim Sports car, followed closely by Zach Baker. Dane's gone off there.
Oh, and there's the ever-present Tim Horton's car.
Oh, got out of the way there. That's how you do it, Lance Stroll.
Oof.
Although Lance was pulling to the inside, and that's what Colin did there, so perhaps it's on Latifi. I haven't made up my mind on whose fault that was.
I reckon that was half, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but
it was the Canadian bloke's fault.
I'm inclined to blame Stroll just because he was the one that was moving.
Yeah, but Latifi finds himself with a wrecked car more often than not, and I hate it because I really like the guy. He seems like a
nice person,
but he's just useless.
I tell you, if Colin's just freewheeling this car, it's gotten a very long way, so he must be putting some sort of throttle input in, because he's gone more than half of the lap.
He's trying to avoid towing back to the pits. But this is an interesting time to bring up the pits, actually, because it's a Formula 1 pit lane. It's a lot longer than most of the other pit lanes that we go to in this series, and so the time lost in a pit stop is substantially more. And I think it's completely dead now. I can't hear it even ticking over.
Yeah, it sounds like it. He definitely did not leave those 11s coming into the pits.
Have the power to.
And it's quite a long pit entry as well, which they wouldn't which they probably are not used to. Is they've got a long way that they can keep their foot in it before they need to come down to pit lane speed. So it's very easy to get ahead of yourself and speed into the pit lane and pick up a penalty, or to get impatient on your way out and likewise get yourself a penalty. So looks like Dane Warren has dropped out of the server just for a moment. Colin Warwick taking the lead in this practice session. Yeah,
so lots of people doing stuff to their setups, I suppose, going off and trying different things. Ethan Warren's in the server, hasn't set a time yet, but we saw him close to the top in the previous practice session before the official practice session started. They tend to run for about an hour or so beforehand. Well, some of them are in the server practicing for days beforehand. So yeah, only one compulsory pit stop in race one, and you can imagine the time lost if there was two of those in the race.
Yeah,
so probably a sensible choice there.
Be interested to know what the pit lane delta is through Albert Park for a supercar.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Corey has a little bit of a hairy moment going through turn 5. Is the pit lane speed limit the same for different disciplines? Is it the same for Formula 1 as it is for supercars?
No, I think it's faster.
As a trivia question?
Normally in supercars it's down around 40, so it is really quite slow.
God, yeah.
I don't know if it's 40 around in this circuit, but we'll find out, I suppose. Because 40 will look very, very pedestrian.
Very, very slow.
Oh my goodness.
And he's definitely bowled that wide.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a theme here because everyone has some track knowledge with this track. And it's the corners that are the same are part of what's changed because of the excess speed that they take into turn 9. They're used to taking it at the speed that they used to take the old turn 11, which is the same corner. No difference to the corner, just the approach speed is much faster now.
Yeah, it's going to throw a lot of people off, I reckon. Same thing going into turn 6, where you can carry a lot more speed through that corner now compared to how you used to have to really tighten up going through the corner. Well, it wasn't turn 6. Was it still turn 6? Back then?
Yeah. So it's basically the main difference was that we had the chicane, which was 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's basically like I think they should have kept turn 11 and 12 called that and just not had a turn 9 and 10 in much the same way that we added a few months to the calendar and didn't change the original names. October is the 10th month, not the 8th month.
Correct.
When we added July and August. But, I didn't have a say in that.
No, that was a little bit before your time.
Just a bit.
I definitely would have listened to you if you had been alive at the time.
I probably would have been born in December if I had a say in that.
I feel as if this was a track that only supercars raced around, that is exactly what they would have done.
Well, they should just give them names
rather
than numbers.
Yeah, we've had this discussion.
Well, I do believe some of the corners have names, but they're seldom used.
Yeah, I reckon if this was an Australian track only and Formula 1 didn't come here, I reckon they would have just left those called 11 and 12. But because F1 comes here, they can't have two corner numbers missing.
I mean, there's plenty of landmarks around the circuit that you could potentially name corners after, and that tends to be what happens. My favourite is in the name of the track is slipping me right now, but there's a corner called Knickerbrook, and there's a terrific story about that a particular corner and a young couple being caught in the act in a creek down by the sort of on the banks of a creek right by where the corner was. And
God, what track is that?
They left in such haste that they discovered a pair of knickers in the creek.
Very good.
And so it forever became known as the Knickerbrook Corner, and it's a terrific corner as well. I can drive the circuit in my mind, I just can't remember the
I can picture it. Yep. I'm looking it up.
It's one of those very British sort of tracks. So we're looking at Corey McFarlane here, the Master Foods whole grain mustard car that we got to the bottom of last round at Symmons Plains.
Yes, there was a little bit of debate, some small debate on what that Master Foods container is, and it is indeed whole grain mustard. The track that we're thinking of, Stairs, is Knock Hill Circuit.
Knock Hill? Is it?
Unless I'm incorrect, which is possible. I was looking at tracks that we did during our BTCC series.
I don't think it was Knock Hill. I know it's not Snetterton because I can picture Snetterton, but it's got a name like that, very British sounding name, I think. Could be completely wrong entirely. Thruxton! Yes!
Thruxton!
Sounds like something you wouldn't want. Never mind. If you put on those knickers, you might get that.
You might get some Thruxton.
Goodness me.
Dearie me, do you need some balm for your Thruxton?
Who told you to put the balm on?
I didn't tell you to put the balm on.
Seeing a bit of practice racecraft here going on between Kurt Stenberg and Corey McFarlane. These two shared a car in last year's Bathurst 1000.
Corey McFarlane seems to be incredibly loose.
He is.
He's not just sexually, but he seems to be losing control of that car more often than he's in control of it as they come to blows at the penultimate corner.
Yeah, this particular racetrack, I don't really have a big memory of the last time we went here in this series, and you don't have any memory of last time we went to this series.
That's very true.
But certainly, I think there's a good potential for some four-wide action.
Four-wide. Corey McFarlane, I'm surprised where he is in the standings, in the point standings, that is, because he sort of arrived on the scene in Super 2 last season, and I don't think it's uncharitable to say he wiped the floor with the rest of the competition.
Uncharitable? And
then came up to the main series and was very competitive in the main series as well, and he just sort of hasn't. I don't think we've had him for every race so far this season, I think.
Yeah, we've got a few people. I don't think we've seen I may be wrong, but I don't think we've seen Lachlan Horan this year. He was around last year, but this is a new livery for the series.
Livery.
The Jim's Mowing livery.
I've got to love Jim.
And I believe Kai Jones' first time this year, so I'm just going to check that because I'm totally at risk of getting the wrong car here. But hello to Blair Warren and Mr. Walshy, a couple of old friends in the live chat. Knock Hill in Scotland, Thruxton in Cheshire.
I should have known that. I remember Bang mentioning that Knock Hill is basically the only Scottish racetrack that's worth a damn when we ran it.
And any upsets being predicted, suggests Blair Warren.
Unlikely. Although Colin Warwick is within a second of Dane Warren's time in this practice session. We know Dane Warren can go a bit quicker, but he's not quite as out of reach as he looked when we first jumped into this practice session, half an hour ago.
Ooh, a bit of silence. Here's some music to appease that silence. Hear that?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the championship points to see. No, I don't believe we have had Kai Williams.
Lachlan Burke.
Lachlan Burke had a DNS.
I was looking for Lachlan Horan.
Round.
Ignore me.
Oh no, it was Lachlan Horan we were talking about. Lachlan Burke for all Australian races. He's classified but hasn't started a race. But the other Lachlan in Lachlan Horan, his first round with us tonight. So welcome to him. Good to see some new faces. Well, they're not new faces. They've been around last year, but good to see them for the first time this year, Madbird.
Corey McFarlane had a shocker at the second Sydney race. I can't remember exactly what happened, but that would probably be not helping where he is in the standings, down in 10th.
Yeah, those DNFs really hurt you in this series with points going all the way down to 26th place, I think. Actually, no, I think that goes even beyond that, but we don't have 26 finishes. So even finishing a race, even if you're last, you get a handful of points. But if you DNF, you only get the 25 points for starting the race.
Makes a big difference.
So that's 175 points for each race that Dane Warren has started because he's finished them. So it's 150 for the win and 170 and 25 for starting the race. All right, let's have a look at this racetrack.
There's some turns. Turns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pretty much unchanged apart from the widening of turns 1 and 3. Turn 6, that is a really quick one, and then
it's actually scary to watch.
It's 8, and that map shows you there, turn 9 and 10 gone. Well, been moved a bit further down the racetrack to there, the old turn 11 and 12. Turn 11 a lot sharper, and then turn 12, 13 and 14 all unchanged.
Well, we found out where Luke Rosella is. He's at gate 12 at Melbourne Airport, so if anyone...
Still returning from the Grand Prix, evidently.
Anyone feels like heading down there and keeping him company, I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
That'll hurt his championship.
And Michael Zalavari saying, hey, look, faces. That is what we have.
Yes, we've upped the production quality ever so slightly. As we go out onto this racetrack for this 8-minute qualifying session. Oh, that's a fantastic sight as they come out onto this Albert Park racetrack.
Lots and lots of cars. It's going to be a pretty busy session, I reckon.
You know it.
Because 8 minutes, not a huge amount of time considering how long it takes to go around this racetrack.
So it looks like Colin Warwick is the pioneer out on track at the moment, so he will be the first person to set a lap time, and you should think that they won't have too much trouble with traffic around a lap like this. One of the longest, I think this is the longest lap they go to. Someone is probably bound to correct me on that.
The bend?
Could be the bend, yeah.
Isn't the bend
I think that's like 4.3 in the configuration that's supercars.
Oh, because the international layout is the one that's longer than Spa or something ridiculous. That never gets used.
Never gets used. I think they do... Michael Zalavari can probably let us know because I'm sure he's marshalled there, but when they do endurance events there, I think they use the endurance layout.
We went there for an endurance thing once, did we not?
Yeah, but I don't think that was the long version of the track they were using.
No.
I wouldn't call that endurance. I think they did like their 1 hour race.
That was Australian
for the
GT or whatever.
Nationals.
Yeah.
Yes, with all 6 cars.
It was
that they had in that particular category.
Underwhelming, must be said.
And they did actually have a race going on between 2 cars with differing strategies, and the commentators couldn't care less about it whatsoever. So.
Yeah, quite upset about the lack of commentary. Skill on display.
Provided our own.
I think we would have been better.
Tune in with our own FM transmitter.
Head to the track with exactly, and get James out there spruiking it with a megaphone.
He loves it. So Colin Warwick first to set a lap. This is the start of it. Into that fast turn 1. Throw the car in there, all the way over to the left. Not an inch to spare. A couple of wheels just straddling the grass there, Madbird.
Yeah, that looked a little bit hairy coming back onto the track. Down into this newly profiled turn 3.
You can see what they've done there. They've squared it off a little bit to make it wider.
They have. Collins negotiated it pretty well. Gets very close to the wall there on the exit of turn 5. Or sorry, the entrance to turn 5.
Yep, and they're coming into the Latifi corner here. This is why I'm suggesting we should name these after things that have either happened or landmarks that are around the outside of the circuit.
I'm not sure Latifi would enjoy... I guess there's several corners which could be called the Mazepin
I think they're coming up to the part where in 2010 Lewis Hamilton got arrested for... Well, I don't think he got arrested, but he got done for doing a burnout. Oh, he's tagged the wall there. It's totally unsettled the car. And that's going to hurt his exit all the way down to turn 11.
Did quite well to keep that on the track, to be honest. But yeah, that is this time is not going to be anything to write home about based on what we've seen. There is Dane Warren lurking in the background, who's probably setting some decent
fastest
times.
First sector for Dane. Ethan Warren has the fastest middle sector, though, by about a 1/10.5.
Maybe a bit of a challenge being thrown down by the younger of the 2 brothers.
Yeah, but I don't think Ethan was anywhere near Dane in the first sector. It was about 3/10 to the good for Dane. But Colin's going to set the first benchmark, and he comes across the line, and I keep talking because it's a long run to the line here, and
it really
the line is here.
There it
is. And he did get a corner cut for that problem.
After all that build-up.
So Dane sets the first benchmark there, 1:45.9.
Which is about what he had in the second practice
When Ethan came in, so he's had a problem on that lap. that we saw him, well, we were talking about fastest middle sector, but he came straight in. So he's had some issue, potentially at turn 9 and 10. I think that's going to be a theme. Kurt Stenberg drops into second, and a personal best for Benjamin Dahlia as well. Ooh. Oh my goodness, and there was Hans Brunswick in the back of that shot, going very wide at turn 3.
Yeah, just four-wheel drifting his way through the corner. Definitely not the way that you want to approach this racetrack. We'll see if we can get a replay of that.
All right, here we go. Coming up to turn 3, and he locks the rears there by the looks of it. Either that or he's gone down a gear too quick. That was a strange spin, and Zach Baker only just missing poor old Hans Brunswick there.
Yeah, lucky one. As we watch Dane Warren continuing around, and he's a 10th up as he comes into turn 9. Looks like a very good run through. Oh, he gets his 2 left wheels out on the grass coming out of turn 10. So I wonder if that's enough for a track cut.
We'll see. It's a journey of discovery for all of these drivers.
And for us, as we watch Dane Warren continue around. Sean Allen up into 3rd place, but 3 seconds behind Dane Warren's time.
Oh, and Dane's coming in.
Dane coming in, so it must have been a track cut as well.
Potentially, although he did set a... Well, the middle sector ends before turns 9 and 10, so we don't know. We will never know whether that was a track cut or not.
Just like we'll never know if Fernando Alonso would have been on pole.
Yes.
Here is Ethan Warren coming through turn 6 on his outlap.
It is fast. Well, just a little bit of a lift there. Can't quite do that park flat.
A little bit of a lift there as well. And very early. Well, I guess it's an outlap.
It is an outlap. So I don't know why we're... Whoa. Whoops. Not really needing to focus on
He
that.
won't be going on at a hammer and tongs, one would expect.
No. So Benjamin Dahlia up there in 4th. It's a good showing so far for AWG. Sean Allen and Benjamin Dahlia right up there.
Yeah, Benjamin Dahlia, someone that we've probably expected to be doing a little bit better so far this season. So perhaps he's sort of coming into his own a little bit now.
Potentially.
2.5 seconds off the pace. Well,
it's a longer lap, so...
Dane Warren's pace, that is.
It's a longer lap, so we are going to see bigger gaps between drivers.
It's true. Compared to Symmons Plains last time out, where it was, a 10th was an absolute gulf.
I think they're carrying too much speed into turn 9 because it hurts them out of 10. They're just making turn 10 a little bit too tight for themselves.
Yeah, the run out of turn 10 is probably more important than getting a quick run through the chicane because it's such a long straight down into turn 11.
So Benjamin is elected out of that lap as we see Ethan Warren pass through. Actually, that was Kurt Stenberg we were looking at, but this is Ethan Warren. First lap in this session for him, and he's got to get it done on this one because there's only 25 seconds left. And he's down by about 6/10, so really... This has just got to be a banker. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near Dane, but he can slot himself potentially ahead of Kurt Stenberg, who's just usurped Colin Warwick in 2nd place, 8/10 down. If Ethan has a pretty decent end to this lap, he'll finish ahead of Kurt.
He left no track unexplored on the outside of turn 8 as he was going through. Touches the wall just a little bit, and I reckon that's actually pretty good. I thought he'd gone in a little bit too hot. Manages to keep it on the curbs, does not touch the grass. So that was a pretty decent run through 9 and 10 for Ethan Warren. Coming down towards the new turn 11.
Took a bit of curb on the inside there.
He did. Cut the corner off just a little bit. Not sure it would have helped him out.
That's nice.
That did look very nice. It's nice, it's different, it's unusual.
Well, everything's unusual because it's a totally new... Oh, goodness, very, very wide.
Messy.
Oh, that's going to cost him time. He's not going to be 2nd, I don't think. He might not even be 3rd. Let's see what it is. Ethan Warren. He does end up slotting in ahead of Colin Warwick by 1/10 of a second there.
Colin Warwick is out on track, though, at the moment. But is he on a hot lap and is he improving?
I don't think he was because Well, let's see if we can find him. And there he is. No, he is on a hot lap. So let's see. No, he's
given up that one.
It rapidly cools.
So, at the moment, Ethan Warren's safe in that third place. Who else have we got out on track?
So, critique from Michael Zalavari that we're using the F1 pit lane. That's because this racetrack might be from a certain officially sanctioned game.
Which pit lane do the supercars use here?
They have like that one in the back of the shot in the top left is the one
yes.
that they use, but they don't have that open in the
video game that this came from.
Yes. So that's pole position for Dane Warren. And I think that makes it 5 from 5 for the championship leader. Very, very strong result for him.
Late movers, we've got Keenan Sykes or possibly Aiden Sykes getting up into 14th place. And Kurt Stenberg unable to improve his position. Remains a medium-sized passenger jet worth of milliseconds behind Dane Warren. 787.
What? Oh, medium-sized passenger jet, yes. Right.
787.
They're pretty big. That's a wide body.
Yeah, I guess so. I was just thinking it's not a 747, so I guess a 747 is a jumbo jet, so a 787 is probably a large jet.
Your mum's a wide body. Kind of let that go, didn't I?
You did.
I let too much time elapse.
Nah, but I liked it.
Yeah.
It was savage.
So, Dane Warren will start on pole position from Kurt Stenberg. Ethan Warren behind him. Is that the first time Kurt's out-qualified Ethan this year? Should have those stats in front of me.
I think Ethan has been on the front row every race so far. So, good effort from Kurt Stenberg. Although Ethan Warren made it hard for himself. Gave himself only one chance at the very end. So
yeah, so we didn't see what happened on that first lap, but he was on an absolute belter. Fastest middle sector on the first flying lap that he did, but he came straight in, so he must have got a corner cut. We reckon around about turn 9 or 10.
Turn 9, we reckon that's going to catch out a lot of drivers tonight. So
watch out for carnage there on the first lap of the race. Even though it's a 20 lapper, and you know, wisdom, the smart money would say, just cool it there. But we saw in the Grand Prix itself, Carlos Sainz having issues there.
Well, and your smart money is not welcome in Automobilista Supercars Australia.
We're racing for sheep stations here.
We are indeed.
Exactly.
For fictional sheep stations, but nevertheless sheep stations. Confirmation that Keenan is in the car from Jordan DeSantis.
Thank you, Jordan.
So thank you, Jordan.
So a bit of a hot swap there going on. Not sure the exact reason for that, but good to see people able to jump in and fill in when people can't make the series. We, of course, in parallel to this, have a Super 2 and Carrera Cup series run by the good admins here at Automobilista Supercars Championship, and those who are fast enough will get the wildcard entries in when the main series entries allow for it. And so we've got 18 cars tonight, and it's always good to see high numbers in this series, and we hope that continues.
Carrera Cup, what a fantastic series that is. Wait, no, it was boxes you hated, wasn't it?
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
just cars that have got the hot bit in the back. Wrong
the
place.
Hot bit in the back, like your mum.
Whoop, there's some sky.
That is some sky. That's like a picture of a cat poking its face, like just slightly underneath a blanket, like oh.
We'll see if we can see. I did hear some cars on track. It is the warm-up session, and in this particular night, it's interesting to see. I think maybe more cars on track than we normally see during the warm-up. I can count about what have we got? 9 or maybe 8 in there.
Yeah, a lot of people wanting to familiarise themselves,
including Dane Warren.
I was trying to think of. I reckon it'd sort of be like if in Adelaide they somehow managed to have it be a longer straight before turn 8. That'd be a similar sort of a corner that you usually have to fling yourself into with a relative amount of trust in the car, except at Adelaide you'd have walls all over the place. Whereas here you've got a bit of runoff that you can use to your advantage not to your advantage, but to your not crashing out horribly if you do go in a little bit hot.
Speaking of crashing, oh no, there we go.
We are moving into the next session, and the computer is not crashing.
No, I thought it was. But here is a reminder, Madbird, of the details of this racetrack. It's weird to see circuit info 5.28 kilometers for the length of this circuit, because it's been 5.3 for the longest time now. It is ever so slightly shorter. It's a new track layout, and so we don't have any records set. This will be the first time that we set these records, coming right up.
Previous pole sitters here, Dane Warren, and you can add Dane Warren to that list.
Goodness me. Isn't that a surprise?
Isn't that a surprise? Who to thunk it?
He's a fast one.
He is a fast boy. He is a hot boy when it comes to pace. 20 laps for this race with one compulsory pit stop.
They have the pits open at the end of lap 1, and they must take their pit stop before lap 18. That's when the pit lane closes.
No Alex Albin antics taking a pit stop at the last possible opportunity.
Goodness me, no. That is just... That's not allowed, Madbird.
It isn't. It isn't, but he did quite well for himself, it must be said.
Yeah, good to see a bit of variation in strategy.
Good to see a point for Williams. Well done, Alex.
Wasn't great for Aston Martin, though, was it?
No, but, you know, I thought Dane Warren just immediately lit up his rears, but he was just weaving a little bit. Although he's weaving half on the grass.
Oh, what is he doing?
What is happening?
Okay, something very strange has gone on to Dane Warren. We were not expecting this, Madbird.
No, so maybe he's got an issue with his wheel where it's right hand down or left hand down for some reason. You can see the wheels there pointing towards the wall.
I feel like it's got to be some sort of technical issue, so you kind of forecast that, because he wasn't actually... Oh, he's back to the pits!
Oh, my
He's out of the race, Madbird. Are they going to restart it? Let's go through the grid, and we'll have to come back to this. Kurt Stenberg is the de facto pole sitter, although he's stopping too. Being a server admin, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this go back to the grid. Yeah, I think we're going to reset the server. Something has happened. That's for sure.
Yeah, so not sure what happened there, but you can see, the session has just clicked over, so we will be restarting the race.
So you get to see us again.
Absolute scenes.
My goodness.
For the 5 seconds that we saw a formation lap. Incredible.
I was excited.
Incredible stuff. I was like, oh my goodness, Dane Warren's out. But no, Dane Warren is probably not out.
I have my 0.5% beer now.
Yep, you got to absolutely smash it.
My goodness. So... bit of a recap what we just saw. They got about halfway down to turn 3, and then the formation lap was aborted. Potentially because of some sort of issue either with Dane Warren or with the server itself.
Everyone else looked like they were fine.
Yeah.
It looked like Dane Warren. I called it. I said that I thought that he was spearing off into the wall, but he was just weaving, and then he was weaving on the grass, and then he did spear into the wall.
Yeah.
So
what would have happened there, Madbird? What do you reckon? Let's have a look. This is probably not the same wheel that Dane Warren uses, but this is a wheel.
But I reckon, sometimes it'll get out of alignment, and when you want to go forwards, the wheel will be like this. And so perhaps he was having some force feedback issues, and so his car was so when he was straightening up, his car was just spearing off to the side, and he was trying to straighten it up. You could see the wheel wiggling, but there was no movement happening. This is a very nice wheel, by the way.
It's good. It's very well weighted, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very. How much does that cost?
Is that the first time you've actually held that?
I reckon it might be.
Yeah, feel the clickers.
I reckon I've never actually used your rig because I'm quite a bit taller than you and I would not fit.
We can adjust the seat somehow.
But this is, but yes, no, I reckon that is probably what was happening.
It is nice.
Is that he was having an issue as we heap praise upon Fanatec. I reckon he was having an issue with his steering. Blair Warren in the chat probably just...
You're trying to drive with a hot coffee in your hand.
Oh.
So was he potentially... Imagine this is a hot coffee. Just hang on, other hand. Was he just going, just not watching, trying to drink, and you know, did he just drive off the road? In which case, it was very, very generous of Kurt Stenberg to reset the server.
If we're resetting the server for hot coffees, then you know, God help us. So I would expect it was a technical issue of some description. The question being
that's the de facto, but you know, we're here to stir up some drama.
Exactly. The question being whether it will repeat.
Surely not.
Everyone's forming up on the formation lap, on the grid, sorry, for the formation lap once again.
A couple people missing.
There are a couple of people missing. Ethan Warren and Colin Warwick, I believe. And then, look at those AWG cars, all three of them. 1, 2, and 3. Oh.
Your favourite livery, Madbird.
We're still missing a couple of people.
Yeah, there's someone ahead of...
Steve
who's
Warwick.
Behind Hans Brunswick, alongside Zach Baker? Is it Steve Warwick? He's there. He's just jumped into the grid spot.
And Keenan Sykes is the other one who we're missing.
Behind Brap, alongside Kai Jones in the yellow car, 3 from the back there. So that's where that gap should be filled, but doesn't look like he's made it.
That's a shame. So starting the formation lap, Dane Warren this time appearing to be much straighter, although immediately warming his tyres and not spearing into the wall. So we're not going to have a repeat of the absolute scenes we just saw. Good for Dane Warren.
And then Kurt Stenberg, who I was about to call as being the luckiest man in the series, having had Dane Warren drop out in front of him, was going to be the de facto pole sitter. No, not the case. He will be starting on the front row though, and he'll be quite happy for that. And he outqualifies his teammate Ethan Warren, who got a lap in late in that qualifying session. Was looking a bit dicey for him for just a little while. The 2 Trans-Tasman cars very strong in 2nd and 3rd. Colin Warwick, 3rd in the championship going into this round. He starts out at 4th place, and that is a terrific qualifying session for him. Blair Warren says, joking guys, so yes. We didn't think that Dane would be quite so blasé, even though he does seem to walk it in on occasion. Sean Allen in 5th, a great qualifying session for him and a strong showing for AWG. Behind him, his teammate Benjamin Dahlia in the number 66. Hans Brunswick starting in 7th place, and we saw him blocking the rears into turn 3, so hopefully he's got a bit of a better idea of the brake balance needed for this particular race. Then behind Hans Brunswick, we've got the 3rd of the AWG cars in Alex Cattle. For the number 25, Zach Baker starts in 9th. A bit low for the ZB guys. Not used to seeing him quite so low. And no David Nenovich here tonight, which is surprising. He does not miss many rounds at all. Steve Warwick rounds out the top 10 for us there, Madbird. Ahead of the ever-present Maple Leaf Simsport Canadian Tire, Tim Horton's car. You just say that in one breath.
Rattled up every single sponsor on that vehicle.
Brap for Green Top Motorsport in the black Mustang there with the Dare Ice Coffee logo on the bonnet.
Boo.
And then we've got Kai Jones in 13th place, one of the privateer entries in the number 6. And we've got RSM Latino in 14th place for Warwick Racing. Pete Stenberg, I think that's his first foray into the gravel tonight. And what I was actually going to say is his first race in the main series this year. So good to see him making the jump to tonight, normally in Super 2. And then we've got Corey McFarlane uncharacteristically low. I have to think that he just didn't get a lap in qualifying.
I reckon that is exactly what happened.
And then we've got Lachlan Horan in 17th place in the Jim's Mowing entry, starting in 17th place. He rounds out a grid, Manbird, of 17 cars.
Wonder if he's going to be doing a bit of lawn mowing himself, probably through turns 9 and 10 as we keep talking about. You know what the problem with the Warren brothers is, Stairs?
What's that, Manbird?
They just always walk it in.
Thanks, Moss. So not too far away from a start here, Madbird.
No, in fact, there go the revs. And we'll be hearing the lights in just a second. Or maybe we won't.
Off they go. We did not hear the lights. It's a new track, and off they go. It's side by side for the lead of the race, Madbird.
Yep, and a much better start for Ethan Warren than either of them. He's going to look for the inside down the inside of his brother, but does not manage to do it. Kurt Stenberg takes the lead through turn 1, although Dane Warren is all over his rear end with Colin Warwick and Ethan Warren. It's nearly 3 wide coming down towards turn 3.
Pretty
Kurt
much
Stenberg on the inside defending.
Thought Ethan was going to have a go there, and Kurt Stenberg's in the grass. He somehow manages to hold position, but Ethan Warren's going to try and drive around the outside of Dane. That gives him the inside for the next corner, and he is through. No, he's not. Dane's going to grab it. 2 wheels in the grass. Down to 6. Oh, what a horrible camera angle. Let's have a look at the onboard here from Colin Warwick as we go through. Turn 6, very, very quick. I think they were all 2 wheels on the grass through there, and it's jostling. This is absolute sheep stations. Dane Warren had 2 wheels on the grass there. I don't know how he held on to it, and he's got enough speed to challenge Stenberg for the lead. What?
I think Ethan Warren is bump drafting his teammate Kurt down this straight. Colin Warwick's going to try to go around the outside. That is never going to work.
There is no way through there. Do they get it stopped for turns 10 and 9 in reverse order to what I just said them? They do. I don't believe it.
Kurt Stenberg has never defended quite so hard in his life. He is doing an incredible job here. Dane Warren slides across, trying to go for the inside, a little bit cheeky, but was not able to do it. Tries to scare Kurt into probably out-braking himself or something. Kurt a little bit too smart for that, though, manages to hold on to it. At the back of the field, we saw Stenny there for just a moment.
He's trying to drive around the outside of Dane. Goes Ethan. If he can sneak his nose up there, he's going to do a Mostyn and Courtney, but they don't make contact. The brotherly love is real. Stenberg through. Leads the first lap of the race. 19 to go, Madbird.
Oh, my goodness. And Ethan going for the inside on his brother Dane.
Whoa!
Dane slides up the inside. That was a very late move. Is he going to get it stopped in time?
I think he will, but he'll have a very tight bit of left-hand lock to get that one off the corner of 2. As my voice breaks, Kurt Stenberg got nowhere to go because Dane is very close to the inside. Bit of a lock up there for Colin Warwick as they chatter into each other into turn 3. The AWG got cars staying in this battle behind as well.
Yeah, Kurt Stenberg nearly had his nose chopped off. My voice is already breaking from just after 1 and a bit laps, but Ethan Warren losing out a little bit there. He had a few opportunities to sneak past his brother, but was just not able to get the job done. And now Dane beginning to stretch his advantage, and Ethan actually showing that he maybe has a little bit better pace off of that corner than Kurt Stenberg does. Trying to have a look for the inside, and now he's going to have a look down the outside at turns 9 and 10.
Whoa.
Never
Colin's getting involved here as well, but he's just got nowhere to go. I think there was a bit of side-to-side contact between Ethan and Colin there. And Colin gets, I don't know, his car's just really well geared. He keeps getting into a really good position into 10, but into 9, but there's nowhere to go with it.
I reckon better to go easy into 9 and 10, make sure you nail the exit, and then take advantage down into turn 11.
These two Trans-Tasman guys fighting each other is letting Dane get away at the moment.
Side by side as they go through the penultimate corner. And yeah, Dane now 1.5 seconds the advantage over Kurt Stenberg. Well, over Ethan Warren now as they come around the last corner. Ethan takes the lead, but Kurt's going to try to swat up the inside, coming down towards turn 1.
They've pulled a few car lengths on Colin Warwick here.
They have, and you can see Dane Warren there just stretching out into the
look
lead.
How far away as they both beat each other off. And Colin Warwick sees 2 Trans-Tasman cars, 4 Trans-Tasman cars. Wow.
And he, very brave, Colin Warwick, to just drive into a wedge that was very quickly disappearing. He's going to try to go down the inside.
He's going to get it. They're going to go side by side. I don't know if Kurt knew he was there. Kurt will have the inside for 4. Colin couldn't quite get that move done, but he is ahead of Ethan Warren, who gets into the side of him. These two teammates last year for the Bathurst 1000. No love lost between them at the moment.
No, Colin Warwick sandwiched between the Trans-Tasman Racing guys. Now Dane Warren, after the events of the last few corners, 3 seconds his advantage out the front. So bye, Dane. See you at the end of the race, mate.
Yeah, you're not going to get much airtime.
As Colin...
2 wheels in the glass. That's what Dane did on the first lap. That was very gutsy. I don't quite know how he survived it, but he did. And this is where we've seen him get a really good run, but he just tucks in behind Kurt for now. Quite a bit deeper into 9 than Kurt, so we'll see whether that hurts the exit.
As we've got an onboard from Ethan Warren chasing Colin Warwick. And looks like he's got a little bit better pace off of the back of turn 10. And he's going to be trying it down the inside of turn 11.
Whoop.
And he's got the job done. So Colin Warwick having to drop back into 4th place. This is going to be a battle for the minor podium places, I think, that we're going to be watching for this whole race. And the AWG guys, Sean Allen and Benjamin Dahlia, really not falling off this battle. Neither are Zach Baker and Hans Brunswick.
And Zach Baker's up a couple of spots from where he started, so good showing from him, putting those guys under pressure. Always near each other on the racetrack, those guys.
Aren't they just? What have we got? We've got Go Hans. We've got Luca Rosella boarding Aeroflot Fight 666 to Lawn Dart.
Goodness me.
Madbird Get Out. I'm not sure what that was in relation to.
I think you made a poor joke, but that wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, was that the Walk It In one, maybe? Possibly.
Possibly?
This is the first moment we've had to really have a breath.
Have a Kit Kat. As the two AWG cars going side by side. In fact, that's Benjamin Daly getting taken around the outside here by Zach Baker. So that's a good move from Zach Baker, who I mentioned was up 2 spots. He's now up 3 spots if he can hang on to it here.
Oh, this terrible camera.
Yeah, and I haven't got the onboard. There it is. So he does manage to hang on to that place. Great showing from Zach Baker, who's really put on a turn of pace at the moment. Zach Baker is fastest lap is a 48.4, and compared to those around him, he's about half a second faster. So he's there on real merit, and Hans Brunswick putting Benjamin Dahlia under pressure.
As they go through this turn 9 and 10, which we keep saying is not different. The lead up to it is, which makes it almost a different corner in the way that you have to tackle it. And Zach Baker just managing to Benjamin
Here's
Dahlia.
Hans having a look.
Too concerned about Hans Brunswick behind him. And Hans indeed is going to take that position. So Benjamin Dahlia losing 2 positions on this lap. He won't be particularly happy. Hans Brunswick back up into his starting position.
Whoa.
As he gets a little bit tail happy coming through turn 12. But looks like it's calmed down and he's managed to hold on to that spot for now.
So 4 laps in, do you think we'll see any early pit stoppers?
4:20.
Very good.
That's a very good question. I mean,
They're going to blaze it down the pit lane?
if you're someone like Colin Warwick and you've had your go and you haven't managed to get the position done on the guys in front of you, you're basically going to be anonymous in 4th place. So I reckon why not throw it in for an earlier pit stop maybe. See if you can get an advantage. Ethan Warren has gotten onto the back of his teammate, his fellow Trans-Tasman Racing driver.
This is not over at all.
No, it isn't. Kurt Stenberg just seems a little bit less settled in that car. Seems to be wiggling around a lot more.
Oh dear.
As we once again grapple with the camera angles. Looks like they were almost touching that wall coming through turn 6. It is so much tighter now with the speed that you take it at.
Oh.
And Ethan...
Kurt got a bit sideways coming out of there, and Ethan was tight to the inside, so this is going to allow a bit of side drafting. I don't know if that's modelled in this game, but they seem to be able to make it work.
Ethan going to have to slot in behind for the run through turns 9 and 10.
Yep.
Kurt looked like he was a little bit deep there.
Shaping up for a move into turn 11, I think.
Yeah, Ethan
Warren
with a much better exit from turn 10 as
Kurt doesn't want to let him through there.
leaves him no space whatsoever, but
I think he's got him here.
although...
I might be wrong. Kurt's trying to brake very, very late.
And actually does quite well. He's going to hold on to the outside, but that gives Ethan the inside for the next corner.
Yeah, but the inside will be Kurt's for the next corner, and I think he's done a really good job of doing that. Ethan is going to try and drive around the outside. Kurt can't drive him onto the grass, and Ethan may well be through now.
But Kurt is going to have a run down into turn 1 if he can get a bit of slipstream from Ethan Warren, and Ethan moving over to defend the inside. Kurt's going to have to try to go around the outside. This is all giving Dane Warren plenty of breathing space.
Oh, he can breathe quite easily.
He doesn't need an oxygen tank.
Not even a little bit. His O2 sat is 100%.
Ethan with a much tighter exit from turn 1. Kurt Stenberg going to look at the outside of turn 3, nothing doing.
Very good defensive line there for Ethan Warren. Absolutely no way through there. I think he's propped it on the exit of the corner there. So when Kurt really wanted to stab down at the throttle, there was just a great big TTR arse in front of him.
Great wide body in front of him. So Kurt just a few car lengths back now. Ethan all over the track.
Great to see him through this section. They're absolutely fighting the car because it's just it looks like it's flat, but ever so you got to perfectly get it right, and your tyres, when they go off, boy, that's going to be an adventure.
Look at this slipstream. Look at it. Is he going to try to go for it? No, he thinks better of it.
You know what? We need to get rid of turns 9 and 10 and just make it a flat-out run down to turn 11.
It'd be horrible airplane crashes, I believe, at turn 11.
I believe they made that circuit. It's called Baku.
Kurt, not close enough to have a go down into the final sector.
They had dropped Colin a little bit, but he's looming in the back of that shot.
They have dropped the AWG guys significantly.
They were kind of having their own little squabble, weren't they? But Sean Allen's still a couple of seconds clear of Zach Baker at the moment. Corey McFarlane a little bit anonymous behind Hans Brunswick, and then Alex Cattle rounds out the top 10.
We missed Stenny DNFing at one stage. That is Peter Stenberg.
Father of Kurt Stenberg.
Father of the currently third position Kurt Stenberg.
Deedly doodly.
Corey McFarlane up from his, I think he qualified in 16th. He's now in 9th.
I did say anonymous, but I forgot where he qualified when I mentioned that, so I've done him a disservice there. Good job from Corey McFarlane.
Well and truly anonymous.
Oh, absolutely. Master Foods drive through the pack.
More like Master Drives.
Keithan's just putting a bit of distance now between himself and teammate Kurt Stenberg.
Keithan?
Did I say that?
I thought you said Keithan. Oh, that looked like a bit of a moment for Kurt coming out of turn 5.
Yep.
Which nearly put him in the wall, but he avoided it.
Oh, he's had a bit of a moment there. I see him having moments. That's that corner that you didn't want to call a corner, but I think it really does deserve to be called a corner, turn 7, because I keep seeing cars have moments through there. Very much limited. It's not a corner in a Formula 1 car.
No,
100% I give you that, but my goodness.
Oh, very much cuts the corner there at turn 9.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if his sector time for sector 3 comes up actually for this lap, because turn 9 is the start of the third sector.
That entire run from turn 8 down to turn 9, it feels like they're constantly battling the car not to four-wheel drift.
That middle sector, there's basically, I mean, I don't know if you even call that a braking zone into turn 6 at the start of the sector, but they're basically flat for the entire sector.
It's entirely a horsepower sector.
Goodness me, no. Yeah, yes. Goodness me, yes. I was agreeing with you. Goodness me, yes.
Bit of a better lap for Kurt this time around. He's managed to hold on to the back of Ethan. Hasn't closed up hugely. About half a second the gap between the two of them.
So it's Colin Warwick behind him. So this is basically where he started. But oh, we've got a safety car. Yellow flags. Yellow flags.
Yep.
Car 15. 15th place Lachlan Horan is stationary on the circuit. He's got going by the looks of it. But we believe it was him who caused the issue. So we'll see if we can find out what happened there.
I'm seeing a few cars coming into the pits.
Keep us updated, Madbird. While we look for a replay, here it is. We're going to get you the replay. This was what caused the safety car, and in fact, it started a bit earlier on there. So let's go on board for this one. It's going to be a wild ride. He got, I think, 2 wheels on the grass there, and this is going to be a enormous crash.
Very nearly caught it there, actually.
And then the car's totally damaged by then, and the crash just keeps on going, Madbird.
It's like one of those car crashes that just keeps on going. Oh,
Michael Zalavari, the camera angle under the circuit is my favourite.
Yeah, it's quite good. It shows you the underside of the cars, which isn't a camera angle you get to see very often.
All right, so who have we had come in, man?
We've had Steve Warwick, we've had RSM Latino, we have had Kai Jones, and Lachlan Horan. Oh, well, Lachlan Horan presumably coming in to repair his screwed car.
Here's Dane Warren and the 2 Trans-Tasman cars still racing to the line.
So, this will be interesting actually if they share a pit box. Thought Colin Warwick was going to go into the back of Kurt Stenberg there. Interested to see if the Trans-Tasman guys share a pit box or if they have separate ones. It looks as if they might have separate ones.
Yes.
Yes.
Lucky.
So very lucky. So, which of them is going to get out?
You think the admin would make his teammate have the same pit box as him? The championship... Imagine being the defending champion and not getting your own pit box.
Will Kurt Stenberg get out ahead?
This will be interesting though. All 3 AWG cars coming in.
Oh, so Ethan gets out ahead.
Kurt's got him! Kurt's got him!
Oh, that was about as close as you could. That would be an unsafe release if we gave penalties for that. Colin Warwick has jumped
sharing a box.
Colin Warwick has jumped the 2 of them in the pits.
That's big.
So currently, positions are Zach Baker at the front of the queue with Dane Warren, Colin Warwick, Kurt Stenberg, Ethan Warren is the order. And it looked as if Alex Cattle maybe shares a pit box with one of them because he had to reverse into the spot, which is unfortunate for him.
So Zach Baker hasn't pit, and so he has assumed the read of the lace.
The read of the lace.
Lead of the race. He didn't come in. He's not using a lot of fuel, by the sounds of it. Sounds like he's just clutching.
I mean, fair enough.
At straws. Like me.
And trying to suck fuel from other cars. Or something. Michael Zalavari calling me out in the chat. Not appreciated, Michael.
Oh, Stenny is in the pits.
There is Stenny in the DNF zone.
We mentioned that before. I think do I remember that there was no there was a race last week with no DNFs whatsoever?
I believe there was.
It's got to be an ASC first.
I reckon it might be.
Tonight won't be one of them.
So there you go. The rest of the pack is beginning to form up behind the safety car. We can't see the lights on the safety car, unfortunately, so we're not going to know if it's coming in.
We won't know, unfortunately.
Until it comes in, basically. So there you have it. So Zach Baker, Dane Warren, Colin Warwick, Kurt Stenberg, importantly, ahead of Ethan Warren, and Sean Allen, Benjamin Dahlia have managed to take those positions back. So Hans Brunswick dropping down the order a bit after being ahead of Benjamin Dahlia. And Corey McFarlane continuing his very good run up through the field, now in 8th, so up 8 positions from his start. As is Zach Baker, it must be said.
We've got half the field racing to catch up to the back of the safety car at the moment, from 10th through to about 16th, so that's Alex Catalon downwards, all having made their pit stops.
Michael Zalavari pointing out that I did predict Lachlan Horan lawn mowing.
Oh, Zach Baker's coming in, so that's not at all...
Oh, that's a shame.
It's not at all worked out well. He's missed the strategy there.
Yeah, so he's gonna end up down in at least 13th.
So now everyone is going to be on the same strategy.
Daniel Cox saying, someone ping the safety car to turn on its lights. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's in the mod is the issue.
I'm interested in this because when I was looking at the circuit, here yesterday, the AI did some funny things at the exit of turn 2.
Oh! Yeah, that's an interesting...
That's the entry to turn 1, but I want to see what happens here, whether the safety car stops around here, because that's what the AI cars were doing, but it looks like maybe the safety car is continuing straight on.
It's not a nice sounding engine, is it? The V8.
Yeah, when it's dawdling along at idle, a lot of that is the transaxle sound, I believe, which is its kind of differential gearbox way of getting the power to the
doesn't sound happy.
The road.
Oh.
And Dane Warren being increasingly surprised by how slow the safety car is going. I needed to speed up, man.
Yeah, I was about to make a Lewis Hamilton reference.
Although it was Charlie Leclerc doing that the other day, so you know, it's just whoever's the leader of the race.
Lewis would just be saying, "This Mercedes isn't quick enough."
Yeah.
Hashtag blessed.
That's quick enough. My dick ring is getting cold.
I liked when just purely by luck, Russell happened to be coming around the last corner when the safety car was called, so he got a very cheap pit stop. And Lewis sort of just quietly complained about it for the rest of the race, as if it was the... Yeah, he mentioned it a couple of times, just being like this strategy really hasn't worked out for me, man. And it's like, yeah, unfortunately, luck sometimes does that. He's like, what? Did Russell stop did George stop under the safety car? And Bono's like, Apen, Lewis. He's like,
I don't know, if I was him, I'd complain just as much as he was. I've gone back and watched some of my old races and realised how much of a complainer I was when I scraped my own races.
Yeah, you were.
That's why I stopped.
Oh.
Well, way better talking about it than being in it. From my perspective. These guys love it.
You were an excellent teammate. I remember DNFing out of a race. I think it was the last race of the championship, and you thought that we were marginal on winning the teams, and absolutely went off at me. I don't hold it against you.
Well, we ended up winning the championship,
We did.
so I don't hold it against you either. If we lost, I don't think you'd be here.
That's a very good point.
So it's all good.
The Canon Nikon RTEC.
Never give up.
The whole conceit of the team being that two industry rivals in cameras would team up to sponsor.
They didn't have
team.
enough cash on their own.
All right, safety car is nope.
It's not coming in.
I thought it was.
Unless it's going to do a Lewis Hamilton. Go across the grass. Stay out.
And then get a penalty for it.
So this is quite a lengthy safety car period now.
Yep, so we're only at lap 10. It feels like the race has been going on for longer than that.
Well, we did have the aborted formation lap.
Daniel Cox just saying, weird as it's the Razor safety car. Oh, well, press on. I think it might be the livery. I seem to remember when we'd have custom safety car liveries in ARW, there'd be issues with it. Safety car doing a little bit of a wiggle coming through turn 1.
Must have been those flashing boobies on the jumbo screen. He's got an epileptic fit from it.
Dane Warren, not particularly impressed by its pace, I believe.
I wouldn't be either, to be fair, because it's so inconsistent, and you would kind of expect the safety car to be a little bit more consistent in its speed than that.
You would, but Automobilista AI...
Oh!
Again.
I think he's nudged it there.
Automobilista AI does weird things. Well, if he's nudged it, then he'll have caused, catastrophic damage to his own car and no damage to the safety car.
Oops, that's not the replay. Trying to find a replay. We'll see if... I wanted to get the onboard. I think it's on... Yeah, here we go. Pressing all these buttons in the wrong order, but this is what I wanted to see. Oh, for goodness.
Oh, too many buttons, Stairs. Far too many buttons.
Oh, I think he nudged it there. I think that happened.
I noticed that they haven't bothered to change the plates. ASC 2021.
It's alright, I didn't... I had a few 2021 graphics on my broadcast until the previous round.
I'm still writing 2021 when I write the date.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, I'm liking the 222 thing.
Mm.
I think I will struggle when it comes to the changing of 22 to 23.
Odd numbers are shit, aren't they?
They're not the best.
As we take a sip of water.
Yes, well, gear up for a loud and proud final part to this race.
Say final part, it's going to be almost half the race. Oh my goodness.
I wonder if he's been given the word that the safety car's coming in, because this is probably a bit more tyre warming than we've seen so far. No one else electing to do any of that.
Goofball antics level of tyre warming. A good friend of ours who would regularly pitch it into the wall, he was warming his tyres.
Quite a few cars now adding their names to the list of people warming their tyres. I'm not quite sure what Michael Zalavari was laughing at there. It says, ha ha ha, holy, and then something that I had to approve. Because it was a naughty word that got held for review by the...
It was a naughty word.
That's a naughty word.
Oh, goodness.
I think we believe we're going to get a safety car restart now, so let's see if the safety car does indeed peel off, and there it goes. So we are going to get a race restart, Madbird.
Dives off into the pits in the most erratic way possible, and we've got the queue forming, and Dane Warren just goes.
See ya.
wastes no time with any funny business. He just, all right, that's green, let's go. And leads off from Colin Warwick. Not going to be any challenge from him into turn 1. The two Trans-Tasman guys looking a little bit closer together, but still not close enough to mount a challenge into turn 1. And they come out with Ethan Warren looking like he wants to have a go down the inside coming into turn 3. Thinks better of it.
And Sean Allen right in behind, so you've got to be careful in these early stages. If you do make a move and it doesn't come off, then you could quite easily lose a spot or two.
You can indeed.
Oh, over the curb there. Keeps it in bounds.
The two AWG guys just with a watching brief on this. And if oh,
forgot about that crappy camera angle. There we go. Now, Kurt Stenberg has been a little bit flighty through turn 6 there, but he's managed to hold on for now.
Ethan taking a much tighter line down this. It's not even, doesn't even have a number really, the corner. Just this back straight, which isn't even a straight.
Where the chicane used to be, just flat out right now.
Oh, looks a little bit deeper than Kurt through turn 9. But all tidy coming out, but it's not close enough to mount a challenge.
Definitely not. Kurt would fight that one hard, and he doesn't feel the need to defend.
Got yellow flags somewhere.
So an absolute ball terror for Colin Warwick getting out ahead of Kurt and Ethan. Imagine that, jumping both the Trans-Tasman cars in the pits. So
yeah, very well
a little
done.
bit of a move going on there for Corey McFarlane. I think he got the move done on Benjamin Dahlia.
Looks like it. Yep, there is now a Master Foods between AWG cars.
That's worth a little bit of a replay, isn't it? So I think he caught Benjamin napping here, coming into the penultimate corner it was. Benjamin was a bit wide there. I think he had to go off the throttle.
Oh,
and McFarlane stuck his
cheeky.
nose in. Very well done.
Very, very well done. Very cheeky.
Cheeky sausage.
Cheeky.
Oh, bit on the grass there, side by side as well, between Hans Brunswick and Alex Cattle over 8th and 9th place. Down the inside, Alex Cattle.
Oh.
Hans Brunswick's going to go for the switchback, but Alex Cattle will have the inside for turn 5.
Manages to hold on to it for now. We do still have yellow flags for some reason. I'm trying to figure out why, but I can't quite see anything.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a car stopped on our track map, so a little bit unsure as to why that is. Meanwhile, we still have Kurt Stenberg holding off Ethan Warren, but ever so slightly closer than it was before, as Ethan's trying to drive around the outside of the no-name flat-out kink.
The no-name flat-out straight kink. And Sean Allen right onto this battle now. He's right on the back of Ethan Warren as they come into turn 9. Corey McFarlane, yeah, after starting in 16th, he is now up 10 spots and right on the back of this battle for the podium.
Kurt had to have got out of the throttle there in order to not put it in the fence. Oh, Corey McFarlane having a look at Sean Allen. Sean Allen just moving to the inside. Kurt Stenberg safe from Kurt Stenberg from Ethan Warren. But what happened there? He ran over something invisible.
Kurt Stenberg was not safe from Kurt Stenberg as he nearly flipped his car coming out of turn 12.
Goodness, that would be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time he's flipped a car, but would have been the first time in this particular racetrack as Dane Warren gets disqualified. What the heck?
I reckon this is something to do with that yellow flag. Everybody is getting disqualified. Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dearie me.
I think that's going to be a red flag situation.
Yep, I reckon we're going to have to restart from
lap 12?
Yeah.
The last complete lap?
The last complete lap, I'd guess. I'm guessing this is something to do with that issue we've been seeing with the yellow flag staying up.
We still have a couple of cars out there, but that's just Brapp and Lachlan Horan, who are currently in first and second. But
yeah, and as soon as they cross the line, I reckon it's because they've been ignoring yellow flags.
So the yellow flag, which was there for, we couldn't find a reason because there wasn't a car stopped.
The wonder of sim racing stairs.
Us, astonished. That is the picture that befalls you?
It befalls you.
So, yeah, good question. Still yellow, Michael Zalavari said. Quite a pertinent one in the end, because everyone has been disqualified for ignoring yellows by the looks of it. The question remains whether we will get a restart in order to finish the race, or whether they call it at lap 12, perhaps. Trying to have a look in the Discord to see if there is any information coming through about that. So good question. Very surprising.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that.
This is highly irregular, says Tim Redmond. Totally agree with you there.
This is highly irregular.
Rossi 96 says, and
Stenny Senior wins as the only DNF out of a field of DQs. Is that how it works? I guess a DNF is above a DQ.
Yeah, but it's not classified unless you finish enough of the race. So
that's a good point, and he definitely didn't.
No.
And Roadies Racing saying, huh? And Nathan Higginson saying,
That is the first time I've seen that happen. But
yeah.
You sounded like you were speaking from some sort of experience there.
Oh, goodness me, no. I was... it was an educated guess.
A good one at that.
I did notice the yellows, as did Michael Zalavari.
I thought nothing of it, but apparently it was yellow everywhere.
And I was because I know blue flags you get disqualified if you ignore them for 3 corners or whatever Automobilista thinks are 3 corners. But yellow flags, I've never seen someone disqualified for ignoring yellow flags. I didn't know Automobilista worried about yellow flags other than it being like a fluff thing.
He's showing 12 laps for Colin Warwick, so he didn't get a DQ by the looks of it. Oh, unless that's
he definitely did. I think it's just because you're
we're viewing him.
Viewing his screen.
Yeah, I believe you're right there. It is showing DQ on the other screen there. And Stenny in first place.
with 1 lap.
With 1 lap completed.
1 lap completed.
However, 1 lap is not a race.
It's very well done, unless it's a 1 lap race.
So there's quite a bit of work needs to be done if they are aiming to restart this race in order to figure out who belongs where.
My goodness.
In order to restart and complete the remaining 7 laps that there were in the race. Otherwise, they could just call it there.
There was a full course yellow, but not a safety car, we're seeing in the chat. Possibly.
So Kurt, it looks like he's explaining in Discord at the moment what's going to happen. He's explained that we had a safety car, and for whatever reason, the yellows haven't cleared when the safety car came in. I don't believe the yellows ever went away.
Dane didn't let the safety car go and went before the green flag and F-worded the order. So red flag race is declared. Backdate the race to the safety car. So
does that mean before the safety car or whatever the order was after this? Because that's big because Colin Warwick jumped Ethan Warren and
I imagine
Kurt Stenberg in the pits.
It'll be the order that they were behind the safety car,
when the race restarted.
Yeah, I imagine. Otherwise, that'd be horribly unfair to Colin Warwick, etc.
Do we know who that was? Do we know what order that was?
It's an AMS bug when the leader passes the safety car. We have experienced safety car bugs plenty in the past.
We haven't had that happen.
Haven't had that particular thing happen, no. What a series of events.
So we're just trying to see if we can get what that order is for you, and no doubt we'll have a qualifying session for the second race as well. So it's all happening, Mad Bird.
Isn't it just? I'm gonna have me a freckle.
I've got to find the replay, so you keep talking.
I'll provide some chewing aid with Nathan.
Can we not do that? Let's celebrate you stopping that by the adding of chocolate to milk.
How good is milk chocolate?
So, well, here's something for you to talk about, which we were talking about before the start of that race, which was the steering wheel.
Yes, what am I talking about with the steering wheel?
Oh, just, all sorts.
Well, it's quite a nice steering wheel, it must be said. Lots of buttons. I count at least 9 buttons.
Goodness, that's a lot, isn't it?
Actually 11 buttons. Actually 12 buttons. Actually 13 buttons. And then 15 if you include the pedals. Pedals?
Gear shifters. Paddles.
Paddles.
The pedals. The
pedal paddles.
Yeah, the pedal paddles.
The safety car stopped at the pit entry. Now that he mentions that, Kurt Stenberg, I do remember not seeing the safety car actually entering the pits. Just sort of peeling off at the pit entry.
I can't say I was paying attention to that, but yes.
It was something I noticed in the back of my mind, and I didn't think anything of it at the time. So, game glitched. It disqualified the leader for passing the safety car. We did once have this issue in Apex Rear Wing, where we had to have this whole elaborate system around safety cars where there was a lap where you couldn't pit, and then a lap where you could pit, and then another lap where you couldn't pit, because if someone pit when the safety car was coming in, it would cause all these penalties and all this drama. So it's definitely not unlike Automobilista to have dramas surrounding safety cars. So we're backdating it to the results from the results of them behind the safety car. So Colin Warwick will keep his second position, and they're calling the race there. So we're actually moving into qualifying for race number 2. So the results are going to be from the end of lap 12. We're hearing in the Discord chat. So very, very lucky for Kurt Stenberg, and it looks as if Stairs is in his spidering across multiple keyboards.
Yeah, so the safety car, I don't know, this is the replay, so we don't know whether this is glitched and done something different, but the safety car appears to just disappear. So here's the order there. We had Dane Warren, Colin Warwick, then we had Kurt Stenberg ahead of Ethan Warren, then it was Sean Allen and Benjamin Dahlia ahead of Corey McFarlane, Hans Brunswick, Alex Cattle, Keenan Sykes, that's RSM Latino, Cameron Parrott, Kai Jones. And then Lachlan Horan ahead of Brapp and poor old Zach Baker.
You know what this means? If Zach Baker hadn't pit under the safety car, he would have won the race.
in a very bizarre way, but yes, that's exactly what would have happened. So in one of the most unlucky circumstances that you can imagine.
Instead of being first, he was last on track.
Yeah, so that's a huge shame for him, but I believe we've got to the bottom of that. So all of that is completely unofficial at this stage because it's subject to confirmation and penalties and all that, but we believe that is how race 1, I should say, will be called.
What a bizarre happenstance we've just witnessed. We've got 4 minutes before qualifying begins for race number 2. Brapp in Discord just saying it was a good race at the back at the start. It did look like it was a bit of a tidy battle towards the back.
Yeah, we wish we could have more eyes on it so we could cover everything going on up and down the field. But good to know those guys at the back were also having a fantastic little squabble amongst themselves. I have to say big props to Corey McFarlane for coming up 10 spots on where he started that race. So obviously he didn't have the qualifying session that he was after, but he definitely had a terrific race, and I look forward to seeing what he can do in this second race, Madbird. Absolutely.
As Stez just said before, obviously waiting to make sure that is actually what they're doing.
Diamond V8 in Discord just letting us know that it hasn't been confirmed yet, so we did put that caveat on there. It's not official, but you saw the order as they came across to start the restart.
I quite like just holding this.
The wheel, yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It's like a very, very expensive, very cumbersome fidget.
I like that
cube.
Swiddly, like that. This has got. It's this one. It's the other side. No one can see this because
it's like a little bit of like a thumbstick.
So yeah, this turns, and then this is more like a joystick. So yeah, it's a bit special.
Very special. Yeah, I could see just like sitting there on the phone, like just pressing buttons. Like it's got a very satisfying.
Oh yeah. That's a bit ASMR-y, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
If you've just tuned in, we've had a premature end to the first race due to a red flag, which was caused by a game glitch to do with the safety car.
Yes.
And so it's been called early. We're being told, yes, it is anticlimactic, but it's always better to review and not jump to anything. So that is definitely something that I agree with. And so it gives us time to, to fill for time.
Doesn't it just? And aren't we just the best?
So here's my latest negative rat test. So, there's something that, you wouldn't have seen otherwise. So there you go. That's good. It is negative, right? Yeah, there it is.
So, well, I would have been very concerned if it hadn't been.
Of course. So, that's That's part of the peek behind the curtains. What we've also got here, you might have seen just the edge of it. I'm going to regret taking this off, aren't I? This is the spotter guide for last year's Bathurst 1000. So we should get one made up for this year, since the liveries have tended to stay pretty similar.
There's Rhodey.
Yes, that is Ben Rhodes, and B Zabub, his teammate. He became only the second driver to finish the Bathurst 1000 solo.
An incredible feat.
The ASC.
Not even memeing. That is a lot of driving.
The first being RSM Latino, who's with us tonight as well. So RSM Latino and Ben Rhodes in an exclusive club in that regard, Madbird.
It's one hell of an effort.
Isn't it?
That is a lot of driving by yourself.
He tried it the year before, didn't he? We were following him with rapt interest, potentially thinking that a podium was a possibility, but it just didn't quite fall
Reached for his bottle at the wrong time.
Yeah, and you've reached for your bottle at the correct time right now.
Being a bottle of, not Pocari Sweat, but it is nevertheless a Pocari Sweat
What is
bottle.
Pocari Sweat, for those of our audience who are unaware of such things?
Oh, ambrosia, heaven's nectar.
My goodness.
Pocari Sweat is sort of a clear or cloudy ion replenishment drink. Think Gatorade, but not really any particular flavour, just sort of... How would you describe it, Stairs? Is it just sort of sweet?
Sugar water?
Yeah, just sugar water, basically.
I don't have such complimentary words about it than you do, because every time I was looking for a bottle of water, it ended up being one of these sugary drinks that I just did not want at the time, but you loved it, and so it certainly found its market with you guys.
Well, it's, you do a lot of sweating in Japan and in Hong Kong, where they sell a lot of it as well. And
That's
so
fair.
It's quite important to replace your ions.
Adding to the topics of discussion online, we got Blair Warren discussing the topic of trophies for first, second and third in the championship, and I don't know whether the admins have got anything lined up for that, but it looks like there's a bit of an offer potentially on the table there from Blair Warren, saying at Card Effects we can create them, and if you guys think that's a good idea, you probably won't have too much to do, too much postage involved in that, because
I imagine two of them live with you.
Dane's going to win it, but definitely Kurt and Colin, if you're listening to that, sounds like Card Effects are willing to get involved in the trophy side of things, as we do have track action resuming, Madbird.
We do, and Mr. Walshy just in the chat saying, it's all happening, Bill Lowry. What would Michael Massey do? Is a lorry.
Yes, Bill Lowry. He's the guy. He's the cricket commentator who goes, "Got him! Yes, he has! Oh. It's all happening here at the MCG. My pigeons have gone." And he couldn't say his L's.
In my defence,
classic commentator.
I would not know him, not being a cricket boy.
So, a reminder of the racetrack details. They've changed for this year with the opening up of a lot of the corners and the removal of the back chicane. Much faster racetrack, and we saw that it was Dane Warren setting the fastest times in the qualifying session for race number 1.
Lachlan Horan not happy with Kai Jones for something.
I didn't quite see what it was.
Riding his bumper and flashing his lights. I reckon he might have balked a hot lap for Lachlan Horan, perhaps.
Potentially. Just want to see if we can get in the results for the first qualifying session, so we can just monitor that that qualifying record, because it's definitely under threat, having only just been set about 30 minutes ago. 45.937. That's 145.937. That was the fastest qualifying lap in the first qualifying session, set by Dane Warren.
Looks like we've held on to all of our drivers except for Peter Stenberg, who has dropped out after DNFing on lap 1 of the previous race, so fair enough. But Colin Warwick is going to be not the first, but he is the one we are looking at of our runners to set a hot lap. And there he goes across the line.
I think Dane did pass him, so he might be ahead. So we'll see if we can pick up his lap as well, as we're looking at Colin right now.
Out of turn 2 for this run down to turn 3. Pretty decent qualifying for Colin Warwick previous time out.
Yeah, up into 4th place in the first qualifying session.
Nice,
just behind Dane Warren and the 2 Trans-Tasman cars. So a picture of consistency this year. He's He speaks big words, not about himself, but of his family members. I think he was saying that his daughter's going to win Scops at 4 months of age. So those are big words. I think he's elected out of that lap, though. I think I saw a car just go past him. So
he did, yeah, very big words about
his unborn daughter. So fair to say, I think she's going to have a fair bit of motorsport in her life.
Jordan DeSantis just saying, imagine talking about cricket on a sim racing stream. Imagine talking about cricket ever. Like, why would you subject anybody to that?
Him now, Jordan. I love cricket.
I don't.
And we'll leave it at that.
I love the Republic. Another...
That went over my head.
That was a Palpatine quote.
Oh,
I love democracy. I love the Republic.
Well, Dane Warren, I'll watch your career with great interest. He's going to come across the line. Let's see. Really, he's only beating himself. 45.937. Can he do it? On his first attempt in this qualifying session.
Yes, he can.
By 0.3 of a second.
Unlimited power, says Dane Warren as he beats it by 0.3 of a second.
Imagine talking about Star Wars on a racing stream.
Mate, Star Wars is cool.
It used to be.
It still is.
Then Disney ruined it.
No, The Mandalorian wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, big lock up there for Dane Warren, but it probably won't matter. Ethan Warren only 0.7 adrift, but 0.7 is still quite a bit.
I think that's faster than he managed in the first qualifying session, Ethan.
It is. Well, he's managed to get a lap in before the very death.
He was about 0.9 adrift of Dane's slower lap time in the first qualifying session.
And Colin Warwick's still yet to set a time, so must have gotten a track cut on the previous lap.
Yeah, we did see him back out and let Zach Baker through. Oh dear.
I've started the prequels quotes in the chat now.
Yeah.
Very good.
This is how democracy dies.
To thunderous applause.
Ah.
Is it possible to learn this power?
With 2 elections in 3 months.
Not from a member of the Australian Labor Party. Oh, but you get your democracy sausage.
I know, but I didn't get one at the state elections.
Me neither, because we went and did it early.
I went and did it late, and they must have all wrapped up. I live in a suburb where the average age is old. And so I think they all had the same idea and went and voted at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, when I say early, I mean we did it like earlier in the week.
Yes.
Because we didn't want to... I figured quite smartly we didn't really want to be in a huge crowd of people lining up to the polls.
That's a good call.
With the biggest COVID explosion that South Australia has had so far.
I went to do the postal vote thing, but I was a bit late, I think. So I didn't arrive in time.
I might do that for the federal.
I did that last federal election and it worked really well. And I like it because, you know, you can sit down and you can just you can actually research and consider your vote a bit more than just... I know you're supposed to do that before you go, but I don't know, I just feel the pressure with the cardboard box.
You know, just walk in, grab the piece of paper from, you know, the Labor guy or whatever. It's like, put your votes like this or whatever.
I saw I don't know if I've told you about this, but it was a great way of how to deal with people who hand you the how to vote cards. This guy goes up to, and the woman hands him a how to vote card, and he signs it with a Sharpie and hands it back to her. Oh, we're under the circuit again.
We are under the circuit. That is Michael Zalavari's favourite camera angle.
When the stars align, we get that camera angle. Doesn't happen every time, but by Jove, when it does, you know that it's exciting. What are you spying on track, Madbird?
Spying these trees, very low resolution trees.
Now, Kurt hasn't quite got a lap in yet. 7 seconds adrift. Hans Brunswick's currently sat in 3rd.
That's a very good return.
That is a good return. I expect Colin Warwick hasn't quite done the time that he's after.
No. Yeah, Kurt Stenberg and Colin Warwick both well and truly. Well, Colin Warwick hasn't actually set a lap time. And this one...
It's pretty good.
It's probably... I was going to say it's disappointing because he's 6/10 down, but then it's 6/10 down from Dane Warren, so that's
but that's second or third.
Yeah.
If he can keep this pace up, he might rival Ethan Warren's time. See if we can get the times up. That would help us. There we go. As we get this lovely shot on high from the helicopter. Of course, it's not a real helicopter. It's modelled in the game.
You do see the heli chopper. Colin Warwick coming around the last corner, nice and tidy there.
Very good.
And he will have enough time to do another hot lap if he's fueled for it, and he's third fastest at the moment.
Kurt will slot in behind him in 4th place. So and Dahlia goes into 5th, so that's a good result for him. Hans Brunswick has gone
Kurt
from
will not
3rd
be setting
to 6th.
another lap time.
No, that's it. The timer has just elapsed to 0. Good grammar there.
We've had Liam Budd join in, down in 14th place. So he snuck in between races. So we've lost someone else.
So 6:69 is the time. Dane Warren will not be improving.
The time.
I don't believe that anyone else is going to better that. Ethan Warren is not on a lap currently.
Hans Brunswick, is he on a lap? No, it doesn't look like a...
Colin Warwick is.
Doesn't look like a heater, to use the apparent terminology.
Benjamin Dahlia also on a lap, so Colin ahead of him on the racetrack. He's got to find a fair bit of time if he wants to drop Ethan Warren out of the front row.
Well, he's down on his PB, and that was a very messy run through.
He's going to back out of that one.
So we'll see if Benjamin...
Dahlia is also having issues into turn 10, into turn 9 again. I keep saying 10.
Doing a bit of lawn mowing through that section.
But he needs the Jim's mowing car.
Yes, indeed. Lachlan Horan down in 16th place.
Oh, yes. Just carried way too much speed in.
Did himself a signs.
Was never in any danger of making the apex there.
No.
I think that's pretty much it. We've got a couple of cars coming through, but I don't think anyone has set the timing screens alight.
Oh. Colin Warwick with a very dramatic entrance to the pits, nearly sideswiping the wall. Yes, so that is the end of the qualifying race session for race number 2.
Yep, everyone else coming into the pits by the looks of it.
So Dane Warren takes yet another pole position. Ethan Warren sharing the front row of the grid with him. So Kurt Stenberg missing out this time around. Kurt Stenberg and Colin Warwick sharing the second row of the grid this time. With Benjamin Dahlia, Hans Brunswick, Sean Allen, Zach Baker qualifying much more where we would expect him to be. Alex Cattle and Steve Warwick rounding out the top 10. So we've lost Corey McFarlane, actually.
That's a shame, because he was definitely one of the stars of race 1.
And Peter Stenberg, but we have gained Liam Budd. So that would be why we are one number down.
Good to see Liam Budd.
Race.
Good to see Liam Budd in the
yeah,
server.
cheers, mate. Good to see you too, friend.
Yes, because his name is Liam.
Yeah. Good
Not
to see Liam Budd. Oh, God.
We do have fun. We've been shortchanged a little bit for race.
We
laps, even though it does seem like race 1 did go for a while, because we had various interruptions, safety car intervention. There was 2 formation laps.
I would like to speak to the manager about my lack of laps that I've been able to witness. So
we're going to get 10 more right now. This is the sketch. You can see there that second race, which was... I think we're pretty much about half an hour behind the schedule, but that's all right. We normally do that anyway. They build in a little bit of flexibility so that we can kind of finish, you know, not too late in the evening. But 10 laps and a compulsory pit stop. Just one compulsory pit stop for that race. We saw everyone take it at the same time on the first race, so we didn't really get to see too much in the way of strategy unfold at all.
No, the pit stops basically happened as the race was being neutralized. So, you talking about not finishing too late, Stairs. What a difference 2 weeks makes, because I reckon the last time I was here at around this time it was still daylight out there.
Yeah, so we have moved to standard time from daylight savings, as well as
what a change,
as well as the the general.
And you now have
migration
a fence
north of the sun. Yes, we have a fence. You couldn't just walk in now, which is good. You had to knock.
I had to knock, which apparently wasn't loud enough.
Well, it's up the other end. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't hear it. I'm half underground here.
I know, you're down. Yeah, I didn't expect you to hear it, but I expected the other 2 people that live
here. But they did hear it. They just said,
they thought it was a
someone
cat
knocking? They did think it was a cat.
I'm going to have to, I don't know, wear steel cap boots and kick a hole in the door in the next occasion.
So we're still seeing cars do a little bit of on-track action in these warm-up sessions. Reminder that the results we brought to you at the beginning of for the end of race 1 are provisional. What are you doing?
I'm just if I lift the mic and then hold my head at a particular angle, I look like some sort of cyberpunk robot man with like a weird eye.
Should we have? Oh, do you reckon this cable's long enough? Give it. No, I don't think it is.
What are you trying to do?
Oh, you know, give us a look at the. Yeah, we've got a little bit of slack here. All right. Here's what we're looking at. Here's what you're looking at. We've got, here's our track information, which we showed you before. A couple of keyboards. There's our switcher over there. We've got our live timing. If you want the live timing, you can go to live races. What is it? rsmclanau.liveraces.com. And then we've got our second screen over there where we kind of monitor the rest of what's going on in the track. And then we've got a second computer there for live timing. So this is a little bit different to our Bathurst setup. This is kind of a bit more of a normal setup that we would have during the rest of the year. And yeah, I'll let you adjust that. It's a bit tricky for me to do that while I'm not sitting where I normally sit.
Oh, lordy me.
So, yeah, we have something a bit more like this for the rest of the year. Got a bit of headroom there.
We do have a little bit of headroom.
That might be a bit better.
That looks right. Well done, sir.
We got us. Let's have a little bit of memorabilia there. I think this has featured on other races here. This is a racetrack I took in Sepang, and it's not cropped.
You hear him talk about this bloody photo.
300 kilometres an hour, Daniel Ricciardo down the main straight at Sepang, and I was pretty happy with that. There's about 900 others I deleted, but anyway, I was stoked that I got that shot.
Shoot film, not pixels, mate.
Yeah, that would be an expensive endeavour.
Goodness me.
Yes, very good. All right, I think we're not too far away from a race start, so we'll remind you of the particulars of the racetrack itself, Madbird.
Yes, indeed. Turns 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turns 1 and 3 have both been reprofiled. Turn 6, likewise. 7 and 8, and no turns 9 and 10 there, where there used to be a dicky little chicane. Now it's just a straight run all the way, well, not a long curved run, all the way down to turn 9 and 10. Down into 11, which again has been reprofiled to provide a little bit more width, a lot more overtaking opportunity in the supercars. And that is the new Albert Park Grand Prix circuit. Tim Redmond in the chat just pointing out what I was subconsciously thinking myself, that when I had the microphone down at a certain, it looked like the sensor thingy on the side of Boba Fett's helmet.
Oh yeah,
back to Star Wars.
I can see that.
Yeah, very good.
All right, Manbird, do you want to take us through the grid?
Yeah, give it to me. We got Dane Warren on pole position once again. Very well done to him to hold on to that pole position. Can he be stopped on this second race of the night? In second place, we've got his brother Ethan Warren once again sharing the front row with his brother. Colin Warwick, in third place behind him, so one better than he managed in the first race. Where can he go from there? Kurt Stenberg is going to have to do a little bit to be glued to his teammate Ethan Warren like he was in the previous race. He's going to have to jump Colin Warwick from the start perhaps. See what happens. Benjamin Dahlia in fifth place, first of the AWG runners. In sixth place, we've got Hans Brunswick with a very good qualifying effort for the AAR driver. In seventh, we've got Sean Allen, who would probably want to be a little bit higher up than that. Zach Baker in eighth, about where he was in the previous race. I think he was ninth in the previous race, so a little bit of improvement for Zach. In ninth, we've got Alex Cattle, the last of the AWG runners, so all in the top 10. Very good for the AWG team. In 10th, we've got Steve Warwick, father of the soon-to-be father Colin Warwick.
Soon-to-be grandfather himself, Steve Warwick.
Cameron Parrott in the ever-present Tim Hortons Maple Leaf Sim Sport car in 11th place, with Keenan Sykes in 12th. RSM Latino in 13th. Newcomer Liam Budd in 14th place in the Motorsport Sales Racing team car. Brapp in 15th. Lachlan Horan in the Jim's mowing car, which did quite a lot of mowing and caused the safety car in the previous race. hopefully can keep it.
Look who it is.
On the track. Who it is? Who? What? Oh, Corey McFarlane has snuck in right at the death.
We're back to 18 runners.
Maybe he's the new Jake Maloney, joining right at the end of qualifying and catching up.
Starting 17th instead of 18th this time.
16th on the previous race, I believe he was.
Beg your pardon. Starting 17th instead of 16th.
So he's making itself just a little bit harder for himself. And then Kai Jones rounds out our 18 runners. So good to see a full 18 car grid once again.
Good looking grid.
Except for the AWG cars.
Oh yeah.
Still not a fan.
Not a fan?
Haven't grown on me. Must be said.
All right, so we're lining up now for a race start not too far away.
Have to remember that we don't hear the lights at this track.
Yes, so we do know that they're about to turn off though, even though we can't see them, because the revs rise sharply and then they drop sharply as they all drop their clutches and off they go.
Can't find them, grind them.
Well, they're all in a box, as we know. So, looks like everyone's in position now, and for the second time, we're going to get racing around this fantastic Albert Park circuit. There they go. The revs are on. And away they go. Tyre smoke everywhere as it looks like Dane Warren has a marginally better start, but they're going to go side by side into the first corner with Ethan Warren out dragging Dane, but Dane having a great run around the outside. 2 wheels on the grass. Ethan may be getting the better drive on the exit.
Yep, so Ethan Warren going to try to stay down that inside to get into turn 3 ahead of his brother. Kurt Stenberg getting ahead of Colin Warwick. A horrible start it was for Colin Warwick. Ethan's going to try to run Dane wide through turn 3, but the way that they've changed turn 3 makes it a lot easier to stay around the outside, and Dane's managed to hold on to that lead for now, although Ethan going to be on the inside for turn 6. Surely not an absolute aeroplane crash if they went side by side into there. Ethan thinks better, but then gets back and then around turn 8 he's going to have the inside onto this long curving back straight where it's flat chat all the way down into the hairpin, not the hairpin, what am I trying to say, the chicane of turn 9 and 10.
You can't split them as they head to turn 9, but Dane Warren manages to edge his way in front. He's going to have a very tight line onto the entry. I like Kurt Stenberg's chances on the exit of 10 here, and here they go. Ethan Warren is just in the wheel trucks there of Dane Warren, and 1, 2, 3, line astern, there they are.
Kurt Stenberg just thinking about a dive, but thinks better of it. Dane goes very defensive into turn 11, and Ethan chasing him across the track as they go through turn 12. Kurt Stenberg just keeping an eye on this one, because if these two tag each other and escort one another off the track, he's going to be able to reap the benefits.
There was a little bit of rat-a-tat-tat there, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of Morse code on the bumper.
Down the main straight for the first time out of 10. And Dane Warren covering a fair bit there, it has to be said. I don't think Ethan was going for the inside, but nonetheless, he had to drive a little bit further than the two behind him.
Can't weave on the straight. Lance Stroll found that out. So Ethan Warren looking like he wants to have a go, but not quite close enough down into turn 3.
Kurt Stenberg dropped back a little bit. Colin Warwick not too far behind him, and Benjamin Dahlia having a good run early doors.
Yeah, these top 5 have left the rest of them behind. You can see that there's a pretty big gap between Benjamin Dahlia and Zach Baker, who's up a couple of spots off the start. Once again, just like last race, a good start for Zach Baker.
So, on board with Ethan Warren here, trailing his brother. Blair Warren and family watching at home. Dane Warren gets 2 wheels on the grass, but he seems to be able to do that and maintain a stable motor car. Ethan Warren's got a great tow here, and down into turn 9. The trouble is you just can't quite get enough of your car ahead to make the move stick into 9, and in the end, these two have put a bit of distance on Kurt as Dane gets a couple of wheels in the grass on the exit of turn 10 there.
Yeah, and Colin Warwick now closing in on his fellow admin Kurt Stenberg.
Whoa. Ethan Warren all over the racetrack there. Thought for the inside, went back to the outside to take the optimal line. And you're right, Kurt Stenberg under a fair bit of pressure himself.
I think Ethan Warren actually a little bit better at this stage of the Grand Prix, of the race. He seems to have a bit more pace in that car.
Like a cat through the door there. Just, well, the door was shut. The cat kind of ran into it.
What happened to Colin Warwick?
Well, he's disappeared.
He has indeed disappeared. He's still showing on our timing screens as being down in
the
fifth
pits.
place. So very early stop for Colin Warwick.
And also
oh my goodness.
Keenan Sykes, and I think that's Alex Cattle, and just trying to see who the other car is. Is it Corey McFarlane? No, Corey McFarlane's gone round. And when I say round, I mean for another lap, not.
He hasn't spun it.
He hasn't spun round. So you keep an eye on who that is in the pits. Is it Cameron Parrott potentially?
I think it Alex Cattle, Keenan Sykes, and Colin Warwick.
Yeah, we mentioned that. I think there was another
Steve
car.
Warwick.
Steve Warwick, there
as
you
well
go.
in
that
the pits. So some early pit stops here on lap 3. So maybe trying to go for track position. It'd be interesting to see if Colin Warwick gets the jump over Kurt Stenberg. He managed to jump both Trans-Tasman guys on the previous race in the pits. See if he managed to do that again. Ethan Warren with his front left in the grass. Barely holds onto it on the run down into turn 9. That was a little bit scary as Dane Warren goes deep again on the exit of turn 10. He's going to have to watch that because there are penalties for persistent track cutting.
So Colin Warwick 42 seconds off the lead and Stenberg 2 seconds off the lead, suggesting that the pit transit time is 40 seconds.
That's significant. That's about half a lap. Well, no, not quite half a lap.
Probably a third of a lap.
Third of a lap.
But it is significant. You're right there. And then coming into the pits is Ethan Warren. So he's decided to follow straight away and come straight in as well. So that will be interesting to see where he comes out relative to those around him who came in. Kurt Stenberg stayed out on that lap.
Only Bob Marley would get more grass, said Mr. Walshy in response to someone. As Dane Warren goes
Dane, I think.
very messily through turns 1 and 2. So not sure if he had a setup change or something between races, but he just seems a lot less comfortable in that car. As we see Ethan Warren exiting the pits now.
So where he comes out relative to Colin Warwick is going to be interesting.
Where is Colin? So Colin coming around the last corner.
I think Ethan's going to be comfortably ahead. Here he is now, coming down to turn 1, but Colin will arrive with pretty warm brakes and tyres. Just coming through turn 1 now.
Yeah, so
about 2.5 seconds. It's probably what the gap was to start with. So no undercut, no overcut.
No, I'd be interested to see if Kurt Stenberg covers off that pit stop soon. He's still sitting up there in second. A few seconds behind Dane Warren.
Dane as well is going to be interesting. So this is split apart the early battle. Very, very early. I suppose, well, actually, it is a 10-lap race, so it's not actually that early, come to think of it. It's pretty much in the smack bang in the middle of the race.
20-30% through the race.
So we're just waiting to see how it pans out, really. There is Kurt Stenberg. It's 3 seconds now. So fastest lap of the race is 46.420.
As Dane comes in. And is Kurt going to follow him?
I reckon he's going to stay out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do what Dane does not do.
So 46.420 Dane Warren set, which was the fastest lap we've seen so far in the race.
And Zach Baker as well in the background there, you can see coming in.
Yep. Corey McFarlane hasn't pit. Benjamin Dahlia hasn't pit. Did we see Sean Allen come in?
No, I don't believe so. Although that said, perhaps he's in now. In fact, yes, he's in the pits. No, he's not.
He's just set a personal best lap.
That'd be an incredible lap if he'd done that while coming into the pits. No, Sean Allen continuing on around, so he's about 17 seconds off Kurt Stenberg, so I'm guessing would not have pit yet.
Yeah. Not showing pitted on there, so he is going to continue around. It is a usual strategy that we have seen from him to just sort of keep circulating.
Dane's come out about 2 seconds ahead of Ethan Warren by the looks of it, so he's actually extended his advantage through the pit stop cycle.
So the gap that Kurt has to Ethan's 37 seconds suggests to me that Ethan is safe by about 4 seconds.
So I wonder what Kurt does. Does Kurt run late into the race? When does the window closes on lap 8? So
yeah, got plenty of time. But he's just losing a lot of time now. He's losing about a second a lap to Ethan Warren.
Yeah, and there's not really a long enough race to take advantage of fresh tyres, and he does indeed dive in on lap 5.
But he's going to be 3 or 4 seconds behind, unless he has a faster pit stop, and we did see that happen in the first race. He jumped Ethan, and Colin jumped him, as Corey McFarlane also is coming into the pits.
Benjamin Dahlia assumes the lead of the race.
There's a bit of traffic to deal with for Ethan Warren, though, so that might affect this particular battle. And it's not traffic in as far as lap traffic. This is for position, although I don't think Bud will hold up Warren for too long. Gets out of the way.
Makes that pretty easy for him.
And he's coming into
yep.
the pits as well. So Kurt's just coming to the exit of the pit lane now, and Ethan Warren is going to go through at full speed. This is going to be a bit closer than I thought. Not quite the 3 or 4 seconds that I called, but probably more like 2 seconds. Although by the time Kurt gets up to speed with those tyres, it might be a bit of a bigger gap. 2.1.
So positions basically as they were before.
Oh,
anyone started pit stopping. There's Mark Wazalama's favourite view.
That's the underside of turn 3. Not even KO has those camera angles.
Eat your heart out, Fox.
So Benjamin Dahlia leads the race. So don't know that we've seen too much of him tonight. So we'll give him a bit of airtime, as both he and his AWG teammate and Sean Allen have had the same idea here.
Looks like a pretty close scrap between Hans Brunswick, Corey McFarlane and Zach Baker. All under a second. Oh, as we see a bit of a moment for Zach Baker on our other monitor, right behind Corey McFarlane. This is for 8th position.
Yeah, it looks like Hans is clear of this battle at least a little bit. What kind of lap times has he been doing? Pumping in sort of high 140s.
Once again, Corey up 8 positions, and this
whoa,
is...
Whoa, whoa, Zach Baker in the wall! Whoa, that's a bit of damage.
Still manages to get the car pulled up for the corner, so no significant wheel damage at least.
Benjamin Dahlia is in the pit, so Sean Allen too. Dane Warren will resume the lead of the race right now.
He will indeed. But yeah, Corey he has had a pit stop, so this is
legitimate
for position, and he's up 8 positions from where he started. So
I think Hans might be in trouble here.
Showing to be a very good overtaker in the early parts of the race. And yeah, these three are just slowly starting to close up a bit.
45.8. Fastest lap of the race from Dane Warren. That's the first time we've dipped into the 45s during the race.
Goodness me.
Goodness me, indeed.
Blistering.
It is quick. I can't remember what the fastest quali time was. I think it was
45.669.
So he's not that far away from quali pace.
Corey McFarlane right on the back of Hans Brunswick now as they come into turn 3.
Wow.
Almost touches him on the rear end. That was a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Different lines through 5 here. Through 4, I should say.
Not sure that'll hold up in court. You touched her on the rear. We have different lines, Your Honour.
Well, is he going to go for the inside to 6? No.
Oh, that'd be suicidal, surely.
That's a distraction tactic more than anything else there from Corey McFarlane. But Hans Brunswick will be thinking about it now. And Zach Baker somehow, with a car that still tracks true, despite the fact that he wiped the wall with the outside of his car on the previous lap.
I guess it was a fairly shallow angle that he made the impact at, so maybe it didn't cause... Oh, this is very close between these three. What a scrap.
It's nuts to butts, as you would say.
I do indeed.
And I also have said by being inspired by you saying that.
Corey McFarlane with a better exit off turn 10.
Zach Baker's going to train wreck. He's going to
try to follow him through?
Oh, yes, and it wasn't a train wreck. That sentence was, though. My goodness me. So Corey McFarlane doing a fantastic job. Zach Baker has not quite managed to make that move stick, and Hans Brunswick gets a bit of rear contact for his troubles, and that just allows Corey McFarlane to disappear a little bit up the road Benjamin Dahlia is a possibility for Corey McFarlane. Only 2 seconds up the road as well. So
with 3 laps to go.
It's gone quick.
It has. 10 laps doesn't sound like much, and as it turns out, isn't much.
Here is Benjamin Dahlia.
In his starting position, so he'd be quite happy to hold on to that 5th, I imagine. But you can see there, this battle lurking in the background. Hans Brunswick currently doing a good job of defending from Zach Baker, who's going to try to go down the inside of turn 3.
Whoa.
Is not able to get it done.
Can he hang on? Can he?
Yeah, he just seems to not quite have the grip in that car that Zach Baker does, or Corey McFarlane. But he's that story is told already. Oh, it's a hideous.
It's a bit tricky to see out of that
Hard
angle.
to see through the tint.
I can assure you that the driver has a bit of a lower angle than that, so he can see quite a bit more. But goodness me, he's trying to make the move through this flat-out kink, and I think he may well do that, but he's going to give himself the outside for turn 9, and we saw him wipe the wall here a couple of laps ago. He's not afraid to go anywhere close to that there. I don't know if Hans was there. That side-to-side contact just unsettled Zach Baker's car. Oh, my goodness. And Hans Brunswick lifted out of it. I think he saw that was his fault and has let Zach Baker through to retake that position. Very sporting.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's 100%. I think Zach should probably give that back, considering he took the position entirely off the racetrack.
45.7.
It's getting lower.
Yeah, but no, I think like he would have quite easily been behind Hans Brunswick if Hans hadn't lifted out of it. So,
that's true.
So that's what I'm saying, is that I think Hans has sportingly lifted out of the throttle because he saw that contact as his fault.
Very, very, very good call from my co-commentator.
Good racing. What else is happening?
Racing.
I want to see if there's any other battles on track.
Our good friend in the chat, Heath Dixon, this battle's going off like some sort of amphibious creature that has been placed against its will in a sock.
Like a frog in a sock.
Going off like a frog in a sock.
We've got RSM Latino here in 15th place with his good friend Brap behind him.
One of my favourite phrases. I don't use that enough. I'm going to have to pull that out at work tomorrow.
I believe it was Heath Dixon.
It was.
Who introduced you to that particular saying.
Going off like a frog in a sock.
Against his will.
Against his will.
Whoa, Brap! Bit of sideways out the final corner. That was a terrific hold from our good friend Brap there. These guys fighting hard for 15th and 16th place. Benjamin Dahlia might be under threat from Corey McFarlane, so we'll see if we can catch up with that battle. It's not too close just yet, but we will keep eyes on it.
Looks like Cameron Parrott is on the back of Lachlan Horan. That's about the closest track.
It's side by side.
Going on track. The ever-present Tim Horton's car, which has actually not been present particularly much tonight, that we've seen anyway. Locked in a battle with the Jim's mowing car, which has done quite a bit of mowing, especially in the first race. We've only got 2 laps remaining, but it looks as if Cameron might have just seen off the challenge from Lachlan Horan there.
Someone who hasn't seen off the challenge just yet is Benjamin Dahlia. He's been caught by Corey McFarlane, who's just been on an absolute tear tonight. More positions gained tonight than any other driver. Started 17th in this race, started 16th in the first race, and in a shortened race got up to 6th. So who knows where he could have found himself if the race had continued for the 7 more laps that we potentially could have had if the race were not red flagged.
Do we have an overtake award? Because we should. And I imagine Corey would be a shoo-in for it at this stage.
Would have thought so.
Looking for the inside at turn 3. Benjamin Dahlia very...
coming, didn't he?
Yeah, very cool and collected from Benjamin. Didn't make any huge moves to defend or anything. Just held his line, and Corey had to wait.
Corey McFarlane, not very old, it has to be said, and so he doesn't have a huge amount of experience. Only a couple of years in sim racing, I believe, and Benjamin Dahlia has a bit of real-life experience behind the wheel in the 86 series to help him along. But of course, this is a very different beast indeed. We've had Alex Cattle DNF at some point, so we didn't see exactly what caused that.
I think that was ages ago, lap 3 according to our live timing.
Apologies to Alex Cattle for not noticing that earlier.
Looks like a tight entry to turn 9 from Benjamin Dahlia.
Oh, he's drive through penalty. Oh, too many track cuts. He's burnt them getting through the field as our race leader comes across the line to win the race. What a finish. Dane Warren completes yet another perfect week of racing. He has his brother on the podium in second place, and Kurt Stenberg will finish in third.
I don't think Corey McFarlane can serve that drive-through penalty because it's the last lap of the race, so that is going to end up being a much bigger penalty. As he spins it, coming out of the last corner, Benjamin Daly is going to hold on to fifth as a result as Corey reverses his way to the line.
What happened there?
He just lit it up coming out of the last corner.
It's frustration there, isn't it?
I think it is, and yeah, that's going to be...
Well, he's going to lose a lot more.
It's going to end up being about, I think it's a lap that they take off you or something ridiculous.
Yet? Yeah, well, we'll find out, I suppose. But that's a shame because we're just kind of giving him the rap for having one of the best nights of any driver tonight. So many positions gained.
There we go. So yeah, everyone that's finishing behind him is leapfrogging him in the standings. So Automobilista is very harsh if you don't serve a drive-through penalty, and unfortunately he got it on the last lap.
For Pride, it looked like he was still trying to get that position because he knew he had the penalty, and so they were battling still on the last lap and just lit it up there. It did very well, Benjamin Daly, to avoid hitting the spinning Corey McFarlane, but that's unfortunately the way that it ended for him.
Very unfortunate. So,
and then he reversed across the line and was relinquished of his...
So he ended up in 10th.
Yeah.
So not quite as bad as I was expecting, but obviously considering he was a shoo-in for 5th place, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it still gives him the time there, 37 seconds off the lead, which would have put him... yes, because he
reversed across the line.
So yeah, he would have been 8th if he was given the time that he came across the line. But of course, the penalty drops him further down there. Dane Warren celebrating his victory.
And why not?
Why not?
That was pretty... After the pit stops, he basically just disappeared, so I'd probably celebrate too.
Enjoying some burnouts. Bit more of a flamboyant celebration from Dane Warren than we normally see. Actually, normally just drives straight into the pits. And
yeah, it's usually a little bit understated. He's feeling a little bit leery tonight.
Yeah, so he's liking it, and we're liking it too. And that puts a cap on all of our racing action tonight. So we'll...
I like this shot.
We'll see if we can get the drivers in for a bit of a chat shortly and get their read on what happened, Madbird. But what's your read on the night's action so far? New circuit? Any big surprises from you?
I'm surprised at how challenging turns 9 and 10 seem to be, with just a lot more speed than they would usually be carrying into there, I suppose. Apart from that, it was basically what I expected. Of course, the first race, the dramatic mass disqualification at the end of the first race was rather shocking.
Yeah, we didn't expect
for different reasons.
That, did we?
But you know, Automobilista be Automobilista. There's always a little bit of dodge in the simulation, and it was on display tonight. Unfortunately for us all.
Now, ahead of talking to our podium sitters, can we remember who they were for the first race?
Because I can remember.
We had a different order because of the pit lane shenanigans that happened during the safety car, Madbird.
Dane Warren, Kurt Stenberg, and Colin Warwick for the first race, I believe.
Was Colin Warwick not ahead of Kurt Stenberg, though?
Yes, but
yes.
When I spoke the words, I did them the wrong way.
Of course.
And then in the second race, obviously...
We've got Kurt and Colin in here, so we might maybe start with them, Madbird, to see if we can just clarify what happened with the first race and what the result will be.
Absolutely. So, Kurt, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So...
Don't ask us. We don't know what we're doing.
And we've got Cole with us as well.
I don't believe that at all, Colin. I have every faith in you guys.
Well... congratulations, Colin, on your possible podium in the first race, and congratulations, Kurt, on your podium in both races. I think you're on the podium in the first race. Yeah.
Yeah, well, technically, yes. Thanks, guys.
So,
Yeah, thanks, Bruce.
so what happened? I'll let you guys conference table this one. Kurt and Cold. Any idea what happened in that first race?
Well, I'm going to give you my impression of what AMS did. So when we came through the last corner, the safety car stopped on the pit entry and Dane overtook the safety car. And then the safety car walked back to pit lane, but it just escaped and basically went back to pit lane. But I think Dane may have passed the safety car before it did that. And I know when the leader goes before it says green in game and it passes the safety car, it causes a problem, which is actually why the rulebook says to hold until the game says green.
Yep.
We've had this problem before, but normally on the second lap through, it goes and it just puts everyone a lap down, and it puts everyone a lap down and gives everyone a penalty, and we've seen that happen before in the game. But for some reason this time it just refused to go green and then disqualified every single person who was... It disqualified the leader for overtaking the safety car, which makes sense, but then as every person crossed the line, they became the new race leader. So
yes.
And then therefore got disqualified for being the leader and overtaking the safety car.
Domino effect.
So, yeah, pretty much. So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do, but we'll red flag it, and we've got to review what happened on the restart and also review what happened with other people potentially changing positions under safety car. I've heard some complaints from some people, so we'll have a check of that and we'll put some results out. But yeah, not sure what we're going to do with there, but I'm going to say that the order... I'm going to say we'll obviously declare it before, obviously, everyone got DQ'd and we had all the problems, so...
Sounds fair enough to me, Madbird. But
yeah, I believe it.
Well, potentially 2 podiums, but definitely one that we know of for the second race, so a decent night of action for yourself there, Kurt.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, obviously we're missing a few people like Luke that I reckon would have been up there this round, but look, I knew this track. I know Dane's mighty strong everywhere, but I knew this track especially. He's good at this track, and it was going to be impossible to beat him. So it was really try and get second or third at best, and I thought at one stage in race 1 that second was doable, and yeah, even in race 2, if I reckon I had qualified slightly better, I didn't quite get the best lap in, I may have had a chance at it, but still, third, we'll take it. It's strong, it's good for our championship, and hopefully we can keep on the podium.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having a chat to us there, Kurt, and trying to sort out some of the confusion over race 1, and congratulations again for a strong night.
No worries, see you at Wanneroo.
Till then. So, Madbird, who's next?
We've got, well, let's assume that Colin didn't do anything underhanded under the safety car and will hold on to his second position. Very good podium in the end for yourself in the first race, Cole, and in the second race, looked like you went for an early pit stop to try to get a bit of an undercut, and didn't quite work out for you.
Yeah, the first race was all about the pit stop. I knew that if I put less fuel in for the safety car, because I didn't know how long it was going to be out for, that I'd probably jump the guys, and that's what happened. And I mean, I was probably had around the same pace as them in race pace, probably a little bit less, but the draft certainly helps to bring you back up to them. And yeah, the second race I went for the early strat, and yeah, didn't pay off, which I knew it probably wouldn't, but just thought I'd have a go.
Gotta have a go. I saw that slipstream really benefiting you quite a few times, but it always seemed to be just as you came to turn 9, there was nowhere to go with it.
Yeah, it's just a bit, bit scary to try and put a move through there. Better off just holding off and waiting for the next couple of corners and setting it up. But yeah, even in qualifying, I kept stuffing up and not putting the lap together. But it was good to have pace again this round, and I know we're missing a few, but I'd like to think that I still would have been up there. So no, it was good. Can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you, Colin Warwick.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks, boys.
And cut across you there, Colin. My apologies. As Stairs, I think you've got Ethan Warren with you.
Yes, I do indeed, Madbird. So Ethan Warren, it was another strong result couple of results for you tonight, but you couldn't crack the win. How did you feel about your night tonight, Ethan?
Oh yeah, I'd say it went pretty well, to be honest. I rocked up in practice without really doing any laps, so just put a lap together in qualifying and tried to get a good start in race 1. I think I got a good start, I can't remember now. Tried to stick with Dane, but I think he took off, and yeah, Stenny and Cole and I just had a great battle, which is good fun. But it's a shame that we didn't get to see how that ended, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Bit of a surprise there. First safety car of the year, but as far as the action for the first race, that really was in the opening laps, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really exciting. So yeah, we were all on Discord together, so we were having a bit of fun.
Even better.
And it's always great to battle with those guys.
Yeah, so you mentioned you didn't quite get your first qualifying lap together, so you only had the one lap in that first qualifying session. Is it a bit difficult to adjust to a racetrack that, I guess we're all kind of familiar with this racetrack, but it's changed, and those changes make quite a big difference to some of your entry speeds, to some of the corners? Some of them are wider, some of them are faster.
Yeah, it was the first time in the V8, but we did a Porsche race there not long ago, so I did have an idea of where the track where it went, and sort of the pace of it and everything. So yeah, I wasn't going in too blind.
There you go. So not too many surprises for you tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And yeah, race 2 was really good. Tried to hang with Dane in their first couple laps, and then tried to get the undercut, which yeah, it didn't really work out in the end.
No worries, but you got to try it. Well done, Ethan, on a couple of strong results, and you and Kurt walking away with the team's championship right now.
Yeah, thanks guys. Hopefully we can continue the progress and win that.
All right, thank you, Ethan. And moving on, Madbird, to our race winner and round winner and new track record setter, Dane Warren.
Yeah, congratulations, Dane, on another 2 wins. Unless something very surprising happens, I imagine you'll be named winner of race number 1. So that's another 2 on the trot for you. That is every race of the season so far. Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I think tonight was pretty good, I think. Obviously had quite a bit over the others, which for some reason around this place always seems to be the case. But yeah, I think I'll probably cop something for race 1. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure I did the exact same thing at the bend 2 years ago, so...
So
You've been warned.
So possibly a smack on the wrist. We'll have to wait and see. In regards to race 1, I did want to ask the first aborted start when it looked like you started to warm your tyres and then you just speared off into the wall and were sort of stuck there. What happened there?
Well, for whatever reason, I'm assuming it happened after the synchronizing that happens when you're on the grid. It completely inverted my force feedback.
Oh no.
So yeah,
That
with a
makes
direct
sense.
drive that's not too pretty, much let go of the wheel and it goes hard straight to the bump stop.
Nice.
So yeah, I've basically spent the rest of my night with kind of broken force feedback, which I don't really know why that's happened, but yeah. I just don't know.
And despite having broken force feedback, you were still sort of the class of the field. So that's very scary to hear.
Yeah, the car was pretty good. I got a bit more practice in than the others, I think, so I don't really have too many excuses or if it went any other way. So yeah, happy to take all the wins so far, and hopefully we can do it next time out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Any questions, Des?
Yeah, so you didn't have any of your 2020 records to beat this tonight because we were starting with a fresh slate. So you've got a couple of qualifying and track record, race lap records under your belt, even with force feedback, which will be an interesting little bit of trivia for people to know next year when we visit this track.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good to hear that it's a new track record because I never really understood at the GP this weekend, saying that all the track records got broken when it's a completely different layout. So yeah,
It goes without saying, doesn't it, Dane?
yeah, literally remove an entire chicane and they think it's the same track. So
Very good.
yeah, that's good.
Well, congratulations on a very solid night of racing. We'll see what happens with your result for the first race. And Madbird, I think that's it for our drivers. Thank you very much for them to join us. Terrible grammar there, Mad.
My goodness, why did you say terrible grammar there, Madbird, as if it was me saying it?
Yeah, I was trying to throw you under the bus there.
Yeah, good work. Yeah, I'll definitely try to remember that we've come to Albert Park this time, because the other times we've come here with ASC had apparently completely left my memory. But that was some very good racing in that second race, up and down the field. That scrap between Corey McFarlane, Hans Brunswick, and Zach Baker in the second race was a delight to behold, and some very good racing at the very front in the first race. Dane Warren, Ethan Warren, Colin Warwick, and Kurt Stenberg joined at the hip for a couple of laps. So, very good night of racing, Stairs. What about you?
Yeah, can't go past Corey McFarlane's two drives from the back. Unfortunate that it just didn't quite go his way right at the end. Taking a little bit too many liberties with the corner cuts and copping a penalty right at the end, and then spinning across the line to add to that particular tale of woe. But for 99% of it, it was looking very, very good indeed for him, and I don't think he can walk away with any shame whatsoever. Looking forward to seeing what he can do at the next round, as I do for all of our drivers that we've seen tonight, and hopefully some that weren't tonight will be back as well. We've got quite a few weeks now until our next foray into the main series, as Kurt Stenberg alluded to. Wanneroo, was it Kurt who said that? Yes.
Yep. Barbagallo.
I don't think it's his favourite circuit, but it's his home circuit. And so that is on the 2nd of May, with the Super 2 round happening on the week before that. I think it's the 25th. So that is going to be very, very exciting, and we can't wait for that one, Madbird.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to be at Perth for the Super Night, and it's a bit of a the bit of a bull ring is Barbagallo. It's
a short lap like Symmons Plains that we just come from.
Exactly. So I'm very much looking forward to that one, Stairs.
Me too. We'll see you then. So in the meantime, don't forget to have a look at our Facebook and our Patreon and all that good stuff, and you'll get all of the details for the next round when that comes up. So we'll see you then. Bye for now.
See you later.
Stairs and Madbird are terrible people, and I don't like them at all, and they're horrible.